Welcome to another reaction stream ahead of Gameweek 27, and we're looking back at Gameweek 26 so far. We've still got quite a few games left to be played, and we're going to have plenty of double game weeks to come. I'm going to be showing you how my team lines up in Gameweek 27 as well as Gameweek 28, and I'm also going to show you a free hit draft that I've come up with, and I think most people that are free hitting will come up with something very similar. There's going to probably be a few changes to what you've seen before, but most of it might be the same. And here we go. So far in Gameweek 26, 64 points, so pretty happy with that. And I got a small green arrow from around 120k to 103, so good signs. And I think just before Gameweek 25 ended, or Gameweek 24, I was around 160, so a bit of development. I played my wild card very late on, and I actually stayed probably, instead of live, stayed awake really early, really deep into the night. And I just saw how my team would develop until Gameweek 38 and just kept on thinking about different chip strategies. And I decided to play the wild card, and obviously I would have loved to play the triple captaincy on Salah. I think he's going to go mental against Leeds if he starts. But unfortunately, you can't play two chips at the same time, unfortunately. But here we go. I decided to play the wild card. Let me know what you think of this team. I bench for Frenia. I mean, then again, who would I really have sacrificed? Maybe Bowen, but I actually just thought Bowen had better form and I expected him to score. I thought Newcastle would cause some problems. Maybe I expected a narrow win for West Ham, but yeah, Bowen blank, got a yellow card as well. And the rest of my team, pretty happy with it. I would expect Trent and Robertson to start, so no way Rafinha comes off the bench. Some players I got rid of, like Livramento and Dennis, finally coming good. And Dennis was someone I highlighted. I thought he would do well. That's why I was uneasy about benching him or Rafinha when I had my original team. But cancelling out all those hits, I was very happy with that, playing the wild card. And I also wanted to make extra transfers. I had no Wolves players at all, which is very poor. No Arsenal outfield coverage. And also, I think with this plan, I can then triple up on Burnley in Gameweek 27 with the free hit. And I can also have a pretty solid team in Gameweek 28 and 29. But there you go. We'll talk about this more in detail later on. Let's go through all your questions. So thank you very much for tuning in. So Lager says, why didn't I? What do you mean? Why didn't I? Why? I mean, that's a good question. I just don't know what it really means. 91 and still 10 players to go plus triple captain Salah. Yeah, that's pretty good. I messed up. I'm seeing quite a few people with these kind of comments here. 74 minus 8 with 9 to go. Not bad considering I don't know any Man United or Wolves player. Yeah, that's why I don't think any player is necessarily essential. And with United, they don't really have any doubles. I still prefer Son over Bruno long term. And Son has another game here against Burnley where he can outscore Bruno Fernandez. I love the adrenaline that comes with FPL weekends. I don't think everyone would agree with you there, but there we go. 55 plus 9 to go. Yeah, some good scores all round. I'm not really seeing too many low scores here. Good evening to Aranya. Thank you for tuning in as always. Thank you, Rafael. Welcome for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and welcome. I brought in Workhorse, Saka and Son. 5 returns between the 3 of them. Yeah, and it's just a shame in my case that late goal for Brentford. That was a bit of a killer, but there you go. Good afternoon, good evening, Eduardinho, wherever you lot are coming from. Welcome, Scotty. 64 points for me and 8 players to play, and Salah triple captain, plus I benched Dennis, 9 points over Ramsey and Cancelo. I would have started him over Ramsey. Cancelo though, that would have been a bit difficult. I might still have gone for Dennis. This is something we talked about in the deadline stream on Friday, but it's very difficult. I don't think anyone expected Cancelo or City to struggle that much. Good evening, Flan Dutchman. 49 with 6 to go. Good scores all round. Good evening, Paul. 64 minus 16 and 10 more to play, but then again, that's still pretty decent. 48 points and you've got 10 more. You could get to the 100 point mark easily. 65 with full 11 play in midweek as well. Yeah, it's good to see everyone doing well. Hopefully there's no kind of low scores. I have Workhorse on the bench. Hopefully Robbo or Trent don't start the second game. I think they both will. And it's just good to go in, with low expectations. So if they were to be benched, you'd be very happy. And even if they started, I think they could produce some very big hauls there against Leeds. I probably should have started Rafinha over Bowen, but I was never going to bench Workhorse, I think, for Rafinha. I actually highlighted that fact, which is very strange, by the way, that Rafinha hasn't blanked 4 times in a row this season, and United was the 4th game, so I expected him to do something there, maybe blank against Liverpool, but he was on the bench from the get-go, and I was like, okay, you know what, maybe I've gotten away with it here, and then he comes on, scores immediately, and it looks like Leeds are going to mount a comeback, so there you go, that's FPL and football for you sometimes. I have to say the games this week were very good, very entertaining. Glad I put the triple captaincy on Salah. Yeah, look, Trent is still a really good option, but yeah, and I didn't expect him to be benched, I'll be completely honest there. Salah was always my preferred choice. And yeah, I'll probably triple captain him in 29. If not, I'll look for another opportunity. Workhorse is last on my bench. Yeah, well, there's always next week. Game week 27 wildcard. So I've seen a few people ask about a Game week 27 wildcard. I think it suits a free hit in 27 and you can wildcard in 28. I don't think it makes too much sense to wildcard now because you also have the doubles in 28 and 29, also the blank in 30. Very hard to navigate that with Game week 27, a wildcard there, because then you'd ultimately free hit in 29 or 28. So I would suggest free hitting in 27 and then wildcarding out of that. Minus 16 with 67 points and Robbo, Salah, Tierney, Ramsdale, Saka, Salah. Yeah, that's good, Isaac. And yeah, just like me, double Arsenal defence, very late goal conceded there. Wildcard seems not to be worth it much. To be honest, though, it's kind of a long-term thing. It's not just for this week, and I didn't expect to necessarily outscore my original team by that much. And I'm not too sure. I haven't done the calculations. I think I would be better off because there's also the -8 to be factored in, and there's certain players that I wouldn't have had otherwise. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I'm pretty happy with free hitting in 27 because I think with my original team, I would have just stuck with it in Game week 27. Now I'm leaning more towards the free hit here in Game week 27. I think it makes more sense with my team structure, but we'll wait and see. 65 -4 triple captain. Yeah, that's really good. 52 workhorse last. Yeah. A lot of people with Workhorse, yeah. Workhorse GOAT, yeah, I mean, very good performance there. He was showing some signs, but I don't think anyone expected him to produce 12 points in his first game. Yeah, I'll be showing a free hit later on. 60 for a 10 left, yeah, it's good. 70 -12 with triple captain on Salah. Went with Jimenez in the end. Yeah, look, I'll be honest with Jimenez, like, I think a few days ago in my transfer tips video, I think he was a void or a skip. Now, with the news coming out that he has that double in 28, which is a fantastic double, by the way, he doesn't blank in 27, doesn't blank in 30, and he's got a double in 26. That's what made me go for him. And also, there was news of Edouard being benched on the day. I think, well, it was yesterday now. It feels like such a long time ago. So that all led me towards getting Jimenez, but I still don't think he's a great option. You know, that's 2 returns in a row for him. I don't think it's a great option. I just don't think there's that many strikers available. There's also Harry Kane, who did amazing yesterday too. But yeah, there's just not much to choose from. These two, Harry Kane, Broja, and maybe 1 or 2 others. The rest look very, very poor this season up front. So I'm not a big fan of Jimenez. I have to make that very clear. So thank you, by the way, to everyone. And wow, we are 1 subscriber away from 9,999. So smash the like button, subscribe for new. And wait, did I even say it right? We're 1 subscriber away from 10,000. So thank you very much. And yeah, just good to see all of you here. And let's actually see the turnout right now. So yeah, 162 of you here. Thank you very much. And let's try to hit 100 likes and then we can maybe set new goals as well. But thank you very much. Let me just check something on YouTube, see if the video is flagged. Sometimes they do that. Yes, already. I'm not sure why that happens. So 1 second, let me just sort that out. 1 second. Yeah, I don't know why they keep doing this, but you have to basically manually check myself, which is a bit annoying. But thank you very much to everyone for tuning in. Let's go through your questions and comments. Seeing some very good scores here. Kept Bruno for Leeds and it paid off. Yeah, that's why I think, I talked about this in the deadline stream, I think keeping Bruno was actually a good idea. I prefer Son and it's worth the hit, even though he might not have outscored him so far. But yeah, keeping Bruno's a nice differential there. He loves playing against Leeds. I think that's 6 goals in 4 games against them now and a few assists. This team is exactly the same as mine. I think a lot of people who wildcarded would have pretty similar teams. If possible, I would have gone maybe for Sice over Cody. And looking elsewhere, what else could I have done? Maybe Coutinho in for Bowen or something like that. But I really like Bowen for the next 2 games, 26 and 27. But if I do free hit in 27, he might not even be my team anyway. But yeah, I think a lot of people will have similar teams. Defense really disappointed this week. Yeah, and City being so poor. They were actually just so easy to open up against Spurs. Then you have Liverpool players not starting and Van Dijk, who played anyway but conceded. So yeah, very disappointing all round. Arsenal double is just very cruel there. Next week, transfer plans, no Salah. So Salah to Rafinha and Ida to Kane. Yeah, I think that makes sense, but then try to get him back in immediately for 28. I think that's fine. 73 -16 with 9 players left. A good score as well, Edward. Evening Dylan, 63 with 12 to go. That's really good. Did anyone see that banger shot from Rudiger? Yeah, against Palace, that was a fantastic shot. And in some cases, I would have started Rudiger over certain players, but imagine if he scored that. That would have been a mega haul. 79 points, -4 hits. Thanks, Burnley. Yeah, and hopefully they do it in 27 because their doubles in 27 are better than 26. So let's wait and see. I have 2 clean sheets on my bench and 0 out of 4 in my starting 11 with Workhorse on my bench as well. Yeah, that is a bit... I've seen some people with like 30, 40 points on their bench. Sometimes this happens, unfortunately. 69 -8 with 9 to go inside triple captain. Yep, very good scores from everyone. Cow as well, 72 -4 back in Kane. Imagine those who had Kane and Son and Salah and possibly Saka. You know, that's you're feasting there. Should I activate my free hit now? You could, but then again, you could just wait, because if you're in a situation where you have 8 or 9 players, then you could also think of the possibility of not playing the free hit just yet. And you can potentially save it for another week. But I think for most people, wildcard, it makes sense. And thank you, by the way, we've reached 10,000 subscribers, and we've actually gone above that threshold. So thank you very much to everyone, and we'll try to set new goals and targets, but much appreciated. Let's get back to your questions as well. I'm going to show you how my team's landing up very shortly in 27. Thank you, Anxie Writer, for subscribing. Much appreciated. How can I have a refund for trusting in Ronaldo? Poor performance. It makes sense why you kept him. I sold him because I needed a way to fund Salah back in, and then I wildcarded anyway. Bruno has looked much better than Ronaldo recently. But yeah, I don't know what's happening with Ronaldo right now. FPL works in funny ways. That's one way to go about it. Thank you, Genius Gamer. And yes, 10,000 subscribers, you know, obviously much appreciated. It's a great thing to achieve. So thank you very much to everyone. Got to enjoy as long as we can, yeah. And I actually like the games a lot this week, despite some results not really, me being a big fan of. I'm on 66 -12. I saw Jota, Ronaldo, De Gea, Edouard, Foden, and King. For Salah, Broja, Ramsdale, Jimenez, and Saka. Yeah, that's all pretty good. And the players you sold, none of them really biting you there, so that's all good. Should I triple captain Salah in Gameweek 29? Yeah, if you haven't used it already, I probably would. And if not, there will be a few other opportunities there. Brought in Sancho so I could get Jimenez, yeah. And Sancho's been in good form recently, that's good. Bruno Masterclass, yeah, that's why there's no one way to play it. You know, you've got Son, Bruno, very hard to fit all of them in. I think last season I had Salah, Bruno and Son for a large period of the game. Also Harry Kane. Imagine having all 4, that would be amazing. This is my first season and my aim is to get into the 1 million rank at the moment, and I'm at 34 million rank. Yeah, that's not possible. I'm guessing it's 3.4 million. Yeah, you can definitely get into the top 1 million, I think. And even beyond that, maybe top 500k as well. On 80 and 10 to go. That could be a mega score. Mega score. 71 points, -8. Salah triple captain and 9 to play. But Livramento fell on the bench. Yeah, but you never were pretty much going to play him. And it was a bit of a surprise to see him come in. And that's pretty much because Perard was, I think he's got COVID or he's ill. So that's the only reason why he came in. Thank you, The Flying Dutchman. And yeah, we were expecting to reach it in this stream if we didn't get it the other day. And yeah, we got it right now. So yeah, thank you, Sudindra, as well. Out of the blue, MLS soccer season is starting up. It's got a decent fantasy league. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not really that into the MLS, so I don't think it's a great idea for me to, make videos on that when not really going to watch most of the games. And I think, yeah, a lot of new leagues are starting right now, like the Argentinian league, but yeah, in terms of fantasy, probably not interested in that, to be fair. Thank you, Rock and Roll. I had triple Arsenal defence. Honestly, I wouldn't triple up on any defence. Liverpool, City, Arsenal, doesn't matter. I wouldn't. Double up is the most. I'm a bit uneasy about having a few double ups in my own defence. Dawson on the bench again. Yeah, but once again, would you have played him? Probably not. Wildcard this week? Honestly, I don't think so. Wildcard in 28 and free hit in 27. I don't think it makes too much sense to wildcard now because you set yourself up to maybe struggle in certain weeks. So I think it's better to wildcard later in 28. In terms of early transfer plans for 28 and 29, I'll show you that later. But yeah, there's only 1 or 2 ideas. I'm still open-minded because a lot can change in that time frame, and I might even also play the free hit in 27, which could also impact 28 because I would only have 1 free transfer there. Yeah, triple captain Robbo, that is a bit tough. I did expect Tsimikas to come in, not necessarily in 26, but fairly soon. Trent was the big surprise. I didn't expect him to be benched in any game. He was actually left out of the entire squad. But yeah, Robertson, I don't know. Salah was always my triple captaincy choice for this week and probably in 29 as well. Corny, I actually prefer Weghorst, as I talked about even a few days ago, but he's not a bad shout. If you were to free hit in 27, my ideal triple up in Burnley would be Pope, Ben Mee or Tarkowski, depending on if he returns from COVID, and also Weghorst. I'm dying to watch Liverpool-Man City game in 2032. Yeah, and City, it looked like they had it wrapped up already, and now there's something to fight for again. But yeah, hopefully, I still think City will win, but let's wait and see. Yeah, the website that I use, which I'll show you very soon, is fpl.team. Yeah, thank you, Lager. Yeah, 10k. Obviously, very stoked about it. Very happy. So thank you very much to everyone once again. Best wildcard team video this week to navigate. I mean, look, I could try, but if I'm being honest, I think it's best to use in 28. I think that's the best time to use it now. I was looking to potentially use in 28 or 31 when the news broke out, but then I looked at how I could actually navigate all these weeks and use the free hit in 27. That's why I decided to wildcard very late on, but it was very close, and I was very apprehensive about it. The reason why I actually pulled the trigger in the end is because after taking a -8, I still had Jota in my team. Edouard was benched against Chelsea, or the news came out that he'd be benched. And I had no Wolves coverage, I had no Arsenal outfield player. I had so many problems, and then with this strategy, with this team, I could navigate Game Week 30 without using a free hit. I could even go into 27 and not even use a free hit, so I've got more flexibility. And in Game Week 28 and 29, my team would look pretty solid. So that's why I decided to wildcard, and players like Saka, who I thought would do very well this week, I couldn't have brought in without using the wildcard. And same with Jimenez, who still not a big fan of, I'll be honest, but 2 returns in a row, so he's doing something right, at least. Had 9.1 million left for my third forward spot. With Weghorst flagged, I didn't want to risk it. Took a huge punt on Firmino. He didn't start. Yeah, he's injured. That's something we would have loved to have known before anything happens. Now Diaz looks pretty good for the double. Livramento comes on my bench. Well, there you go. I think that's why you were talking about FPL being a bit of a funny game. So you didn't get Weghorst 12 points, but you replaced the Livramento. So that's all good. I have 73 points with 10 players left to play. Salah triple captain, so I have 6 Liverpool and Arsenal players. In all likelihood, Morris, I probably would, because you don't really want to get rid of these Liverpool and Arsenal players, especially the Liverpool ones, and Arsenal could double in 28, and they've got great fixtures for the rest of the season, so I probably, I wouldn't do that. Welcome to Galactic Hobbit, thank you for tuning in. Thoughts on a wildcard 28? Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be quite similar to the team I have right now. There wouldn't be too many changes from there. But I think a wildcard in 28 would look very good. Much better than 27 for me. Thank you to Galactic Hobbit. Much appreciated. What a name, by the way. Thank you very much. Lago. Might be a cause for celebration, but I need to be up early tomorrow. Let's see. So what else do we have? Soul Bone for Diaz. Fair play. And Bowen I still like, but that's a 1-pointer. Diaz did very well. And with Firmino out, that just improves the Colombians' prospects. That's very good. Ideal game weeks to free hit. 27, 30, possibly 33. I think 2 of those free, I'd say. Start Corny or Broja? Well, definitely Corny for the double, but Broja's not a bad shout either. Do you have 2 free hits? Yes, I do. I've got everything available except the wildcard now. I have 1 free hit and 5 Liverpool Arsenal players plus Region. Should I free hit? Well, Region should be back by then in 27. He was only out because of COVID. And what am I doing? I'm looking to free hit. I'm going to show you now how my team looks like without making any transfers in 27, and then also the free hit. So let's do that right now, actually. So let's go into it. So let's go to fpl.team. Remember, this site is very, very handy. And wait, did it actually just do that? Let's see. Do I have it? Oh, crap. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to redo everything. So, here we go. Let me just do this quickly. This is how my team would look like in Game Week 27 without using any transfers. I had a free hit team available, but I have to now basically do it once again. So, I think I remember off the top of my head anyway. So, we'll do something like that. That's how my team would look. Weghorst would be captain or Son, and there you go. So, 9 players, not too bad. West Ham against Wolves, I'm not a big fan of that fixture, and anything can happen there, but that's how my team looks like. So let me know what you think. It's not the greatest looking team. I could significantly improve this with a free hit. So let's actually go into this, and So this is how my team will look like with a free hit. This is what I do, and I'll probably be doing a best free hit team video. If there's any changes to the team, then I'll be explaining them, and I'll just talk about this team in detail. So Cancelo definitely coming in. I'd go for Riyad Mahrez as well, on penalties as well, so that's very good. We're going to go for Ben Mee for now, but if Tarkowski's back by then that's all good. We'll also get, let's see, Luke Shaw, who's got 2 assists in a row. That's pretty good. We'll have Livramento, not necessarily starting though, and he might lose his spot regardless of his assist. So we go for something like this. Then Foden potentially, although there's kind of some news about him, stuff going on. I'm not really sure he's going to be punished for what happened. I think he had like a fight in a club or something defending his mum. And then we're going to go for Bruno Fernandez and Heung-min Son. And then Weghorst, we're going to go for Harry Kane against Leeds. Oh my God, they could be in for a big haul here. Don't need a second goalkeeper, so Ben Foster's fine. And then we're going to go for Ramsey as your 5th midfielder on the bench. We've got Brozier in here, so we could go for him over Livramento. And Luca Digne out for Veltman, just a cheap defender on your bench. So something like this, and Livramento or Ramsey could be first on your bench. And there you go. The captain in this team would probably still be Weghorst, but you could consider Fernandez, Son and Kane, and I would lean towards the Spurs duo instead. We'll go for Heung-min Son for now. That looks like a pretty solid draft, I think. Let me know what you think. And comparing it to my usual team, so Pope, who has a double instead of Jose Sarr, that's an upgrade. Then in defence, I've got Ben Mee, another double game week. I've got Joao Cancelo, who I got rid of on the wild card, and Luke Shaw. The thing I really don't like about this team is Luke Shaw, potentially, because I don't trust United's defence. In midfield, double City attack. I could also substitute that for double City defence with Aymeric Laporte. Bruno Fernandez, I wouldn't have otherwise. I just got rid of him on the wild card. Heung-min Son I already have. Same with Weghorst. And then Harry Kane, I wouldn't have him. And, that's a really big addition. Same with Fernandez, Mahrez, etc. Brozier I already have, but that's pretty much quite a lot of additions. So I get 2 extra double game week players. I get a triple up in Man City. I've got none at the moment. I get 2 United players, including Bruno, who's in good form, and a double up in Spurs. So I get that Son-Kane combination. I think this looks pretty good. So I am looking to use the free hit potentially in 27. And let's now go back to your questions. Villa too inconsistent. Yeah, I completely agree, unfortunately. Thank you, S. Much appreciated. Really thinking of selling Edouard. His XG is so good, though. I think around Game Week 24, everyone would have said he's probably the best striker on paper if you're using a wild card. And unfortunately, hasn't really turned out right. I got him in around that time for a hit, and it was a disaster transfer. What's your triple captaincy plan? Probably in 29 against on Salah against Brighton and Arsenal. Not a great set of doubles, but I still think you can get 10, 15 points there. Would you captain Pope in 27? I don't think it's a bad idea. If you don't have Weghorst, then yeah, but I would prefer the Dutchman. Would you captain Son for a single game week or Weghorst for a double game week? I haven't fully decided on that yet, but I think I'd lean towards Weghorst. But I want to see how that second game against Burnley, or between Burnley and Spurs, goes in 26 first. No Corny. Once again, I don't prefer, or should I say, I prefer the triple up in Liverpool. My God, I'm all over the place today. In Burnley over having Corny there in midfield. I'd rather have Tarkowski or me, Pope, and also Weghorst. In midfield, who would you substitute here? Maybe Foden? But I prefer Mahrez, Fernandez and Son this week, despite the single game week over Corny. His stats are very unsustainable too. So that kind of puts me off him. Dennis is back. Yeah, I think he got injured or something like that. I didn't watch the full game. But would you captain Dennis in 27? No, I definitely wouldn't. Thanks, my fellow Dutchman. Yeah, Weghorst, everyone's loving it, unless obviously people benched him. I'm looking to roll next game with 9 playing players, then bench boost in 28. That's a solid idea. And if I didn't wildcard, I probably would look to do something similar. If not, bench boost in 36. Would you consider saving a free at 27 if you have 2 left and instead use it later for a bigger double game week? That's a possibility too. The reason why I'm probably using in 27 is because I can navigate game week 30 and I can use the second free hit in 36 or maybe another double or blank later on. Thanks, man. Love your content. And give the possible game week 30 fixtures. People who only have 1 free hit have to use a really important decision to make. Thank you, Siad. In terms of game week 30, I could also show that, but in terms of my team, it would look pretty good, but I still would probably have to make a few transfers in order to maximize that. Are you set on 27 free hit? Not completely settled, but I'm very, very close to activating it. I think it just makes sense. I improved my team quite a lot. Weghorst is first on my bench. Yeah, I'm seeing quite a lot of people benching Weghorst. He was flagged, so I understand that. Coutinho for 28. Yeah, I think Bowen to Coutinho looks like a good move there. If not, Jacob Ramsey. I wouldn't bet on United defence. Yeah, I completely agree. That's pretty much the main concern I have with this team. Luke Shaw. And I would actually rather double up on City defence, but then I have to go with someone else in midfield. But yeah, that's a shout. I'm not really a big fan of Man United. What's the name of the FPL app to draft your team? It's a website, fpl.team. James Ward-Prowse for Foden. I don't think that's a bad shout, actually. That's a good shout. Can you earn money on the free hit? No, you can't. So did you use the first one? Oh, yeah. Yes, Dylan, if I can already field a full 11 in 27 with one free transfer available, should I free hit? Probably not. And also, it depends on the quality of your player. So if you have Kane, Son, Bruno, if you have like 2 or 3 of them already, and Cancelo, I probably wouldn't free hit there. Fason, Sancho, he's been firing at the moment. Yeah, you could actually go for him instead of Mahrez, but I still prefer Mahrez. He's been so good. You know, whenever he's played for City recently, that's like 5 returns out of 6 games. Only 1 blank, and I think it was against Norwich. Mahrez has been very, very good. So I would rather go for Mahrez, but Sancho's someone to look at. Why not considering Sterling? Well, then who do I get rid of? That's my question, because I really want Kane and Son and Bruno Fernandez. I don't have enough money to also go for Sterling unless I downgrade a few players. So maybe Foden as well, but I don't know. He's a good player, no doubt about it. Same with De Bruyne. They're great options against Everton, but I prefer this team, I think. Kyle Walker-Peters for sure. Yeah, not a bad shout either. Not a bad shout. I'm not a big fan of Southampton's defence either, but that's a good shout. Dylan, do you plan to bring in Kane after Gameweek 27? Not necessarily. I could make 2 or 3 transfers, so -4, -8, whatever, and get Harry Kane in. I'm not too sure about that though, but yeah. Kane is, in my opinion, one of the best strikers in the game. I said this a few weeks ago, even when he was blanking. There's not much to choose from. Only 49 points this week, disaster. There's still quite a lot of games left though, Golden Boys. What about Salah? This is a Gameweek 27 team. Salah blanks. Same with Arsenal. So Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea all blank. Why not De Bruyne and Diaz instead of Foden and Mahrez? Once again with De Bruyne, I don't have enough money. As you can see, I've got 0.2 million left in the bank. So that means Bruno or Kane would have to go. I don't really think that makes sense. And Mahrez, you know, when he's on it, he offers just as good value, if not better, than De Bruyne. So look, as much as I'd love to have De Bruyne as well, I just don't have enough money for it. Ronaldo's not on the big team level. Yeah, I'm seeing a few people saying that. Foden to Sterling, Shaw to Dalot, and Ramsey to Brownhill, not enough. That's pretty good, actually. But then Brownhill, I've already got a triple up in Burnley. That's why I haven't gone for him. And yeah, he scored his first Premier League goal the other day. That doesn't mean he's going to keep on doing it. Dalot and Ramsey, yeah. Dalot's not a bad shout either if you need money. And Ramsey's, yeah, that makes sense. Foden to Sterling, if you have enough money. But once again, you wouldn't have enough money to go for Sterling, Kane, Son, and Bruno. Have to get someone over Foden. Yeah, I'll be honest, looking at this team, Shaw and Foden are the 2 kind of big question marks. The rest, I'm fairly happy with. Alonso, Rudiger in Gameweek 28, Rudiger. Just to know about double Arsenal clean sheet wiped out. Yeah, that was a big blow. And Tierney was on for a bonus point, I think. Which teams play in Gameweek 30? So I can go over this as well. So just bear with me for a second. Let me just try and get it up on screen. So I've got to set this up. But yeah, Gameweek 30 is important to think about that as well, because that could catch some people off guard, and then a lot of people will be using the free hit there. But those who have wildcarded now, and especially if you've got a similar team to what I have, then you could navigate without using a free hit. So bear with me for a second. Let me just double check the YouTube status, because it's kind of acting up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, and there's still a few issues there, unfortunately. So, let's see. All right. Bear with me for a second, lads. We will have this up and running. Okay. Jimenez or Rafinha? Jimenez, yeah. In 27, I'd start Jimenez. Coutinho over Foden? Not a bad shout. I still would prefer Foden, but that's not a bad shout. I have Trent and Salah too. Robertson to Livramento, thoughts? I don't know if Livramento's going to keep on playing, because Kyle Walker-Peters is playing very well, and Parada's also been, great when he's played, and he's only missed out because of COVID. So Jimenez, yeah, already answered that. I went the same way, but with Semedo, Gabriel and Lacazette, 63 played. Rafinha, of course, fair play, and that's good because Gabriel, highest scoring Arsenal defender, it makes sense. Jota and Gray to Ramsey and Foden, yeah, looks good. Foden is someone I like for 27 specifically, not necessarily long term. Is Maddison a good transfer in the long term, even if Europa Conference League? I think so. Leicester's fixtures will turn soon, but not really a priority, and you have a lot of midfielders to choose from. Take a -4 for Kulusevski or -8 for Son. -8 for Son all day long. I wish I had enough time to plan my team for the long term, but my work limits that significantly. Thank you very much, Aranya. Yeah, I mean, with FPL.team though, even just for a few seconds or minutes, you could literally plan everything, and that's how I ended up deciding to wildcard. FPL.team was very helpful. Thank you, Dahl. Thank you very much. Free hitted. Who should I get to get some price rises? Okay, well, speaking of price rises, we'll talk about that. Later on, we'll talk about Gameweek 28 and 29, 30 as well. So let's get this up on screen. So let's refresh the page here. And as you can see, Son, that's definitely one you want to bring in right now. He's going to rise very soon. And Weghorst, whether it's today or tomorrow. Wood-Prowse is another one potentially. But yeah, I think Son is one of the main ones. But either way, I believe even on a free hit, you need a player to rise by 0.2 million before making a profit. But obviously, it's to prevent you being priced out anyway or having to spend more money. So it makes sense. I would go for Heung-min Son for sure. I think he's kind of the main guy. In terms of players who are falling, Jota, King, and then a few others like Ronaldo, Eriksen, and yeah, Lukaku. So not too many surprises here, actually. But yeah, price rises I don't really pay too much attention to. Maybe that's a bad thing, and I don't have a great amount of value myself. But there we go. Will Trent play versus Leeds? I think so, yeah. He got his rest. He'll start now. Thank you, Andy, for the super chat. Trent, Robbo, and Salah on Gameweek 28 wildcard, or just Trent and Salah? Definitely Trent and Salah, no doubt about it. I don't think you necessarily need Robertson as well. But looking at all the defenders right now, if you were to spend on a second premium, I would go for Robertson. Then I would also try to leave space potentially for Rudiger, because Chelsea have fantastic fixtures from 28 onwards and a potential double in 28 if that Arsenal fixture moves there. If not, it will be just a little bit later on. But yeah, I think Trent, Robertson, and then possibly going for Rudiger. Cancelo's still a great option. You know, he's suddenly not, awful, but I think that's good. Yeah, I'd go for Robertson. You don't have to though, Andy, and thank you very much for the super chat. Luis Diaz too. I still prefer Robertson long term, but Diaz is a good shout, especially with Firmino, out injured. What website is this? This is FPL Statistics. So yeah, this is kind of the go-to site for price rises. And before I was showing FPL.team, and I'll go back to that in a little while actually. And yeah, I'm going to try to get the FPL Gameweek 30 fixtures as well. But we'll also talk about 28 and 29. So yeah. De Bruyne. Yeah, De Bruyne is a shout as well. Who do I get rid of first and for who? Bernardo, Antonio, Watkins. Right now, I mean, I want to sell all of them. That's a good question. You could think about taking a -4 and getting rid of 2 of them, or making 2 free transfers. And I would do... Good question, actually. In 27, it's quite difficult with Bernardo because, yeah, maybe do Antonio to Broja and then Bernardo to Son if you have enough money. I'd definitely look to do that, Arjun, but I'm not sure if you have enough money for that. Yeah, Timo, yeah. A lot of clamours for him now, especially with Lukaku's performances. Broja versus Adams long term. I still prefer Broja, but Adams, I think, just leapfrogged him now in terms of FPL points scored. I removed Ramsdale for Sarr, my wildcard, because I wanted a third Arsenal outfielder. Would you prefer Sarr or Ramsdale over the next 5 game weeks? Well, considering Ramsdale as a blank, you could actually go for Sarr, especially with that double in 28, which is fantastic. But end of the season, Ramsdale is still my preference there. When on a free hit, general idea is to not transfer in players that are going down in price. Just wait. Yeah, exactly. That's why it was a good idea to not get Cancelo in yesterday, because he actually went down in price overnight. That's a good point, the Flying Dutchman. All right, so let's now go back to this. So yeah, as you can see, this is how my team is lining up on the FPL page, but we already talked about in the FPL.team section. So in terms of Gameweek 30, since people have asked, so Wolves versus Leeds is going to be, forming part of Gameweek 30. Aston Villa, Arsenal's another one. Leicester against Brentford. And then looking down the line, what was the other one? I think I'm missing this here. So yeah, those 3 fixtures are definitely in it. And what's the other one? I'm being a bit stupid here, I think. Yeah, Everton are still in the FA Cup. Burnley, I think Southampton are still in the FA Cup there. Yeah, I think I'm being a bit stupid here, aren't I? I think Palace are still in the FA Cup. But yeah, those 3 fixtures, Wolves, Leeds, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Leicester, Brentford, all of them are forming part of Game Week 30. But let me know. I'm probably overlooking something here. Should I free hit now or later? I don't think... it's a team-dependent question, but 27, 30 and 33 look like some of the best game weeks to free hit in. Pretty sure you have better finishing ability than Timo Dillon. I'm not sure about that. Werner did score a lot of goals for Leipzig. Free hit next week in 27. In 28, maybe not. But yeah, you don't have to free in 27. You don't have to do what everyone else does. What player should I target from Chelsea on Game Week 28? Not too many standouts right now, but I think Rudiger and possibly Ziyech. With this new formation Chelsea are playing, Ziyech is looking very good. Burnley Southampton could go ahead if West Ham win. Fair enough, yeah. Fair enough, Ryan. Yeah, thank you very much. That's a good point. Yeah, Burnley Southampton was the one. Can you lose money on a free hit? Lose money on a free hit. I think your original team, if they lose value, yes, that's what can happen. I like the fact we don't have City players, a real differential. Yeah, I was very hesitant about selling Cancelo though, despite his blank. But I don't think you need to have City players. And with all the other competitions coming in, like the FA Cup and the Champions League, I think there could be more. What is your team value? My team value is actually 104.3. Wow, really? Yeah, I think it was more before, but I sold a lot of players that had a lot of value tied up in, like Cancelo. So, yeah, my team value is very low. It's very, very poor. So yeah, those are the fixtures in 30. Remember, those 3 fixtures are definitely going to be forming part of 30. Then Burnley, Southampton could also go ahead. But let's wait and see. I think, yeah, Southampton play West Ham. So back to the team here. I'm going to show you now my plans for Game Week 28. So that's what we're going to do next. And how my team would line up. So let's get this on the road. And yeah, here we go. So in Game Week 28, this is how my team would look like. So Jose Sa would come in for Ramsdale. Rafinha as well for Jared Bowen. I could actually bench boost in 28, especially if Arsenal have a double. Their cost against Chelsea looks pretty poor, but I could actually take a -4 here, or 2 free transfers depending on if I free hit in 27. And we can go for something like this. So their course could become Dennis. You know, just a brief idea. I don't think Dennis is suddenly great, by the way, but he's better than Joshua King. Sa could make a difference as well in that Watford attack, as we discussed in the deadline stream on Friday. And then Bowen could become Coutinho. I have exactly enough money to make these moves. Doesn't really matter who I bench because I could bench boost this team actually. So yeah, in terms of captaincy, that's where I'm a bit stuck. It could be Coutinho. I'm not really a big fan of these captaincy options, but maybe even a Wolves player here. I don't like him as a ceiling, but those fixtures are fantastic. So yeah, that's how my team would look like in Game Week 28 with just 2 free transfers or a -4 depending on if I free hit in 27. Remember, you can't use 2 free hits in a row, so I can't use one in 27, then 28. And once you free hit, you only have 1 free transfer available the following week. It doesn't matter if you saved your original transfer, so you have 2 going into the next week. If you used 1, if you took hits, doesn't matter. A free hit cancels everything, and you have 1 the next week. So yeah, that's how my team looks like. Yeah, Hassan, once again, FPL.team. FPL.team is the website. Very easy to find. Foster finally brought me some points. Yeah, it's quite surprising, but there you go. They're finally getting some clean sheets under Roy Hodgson. Yeah, I did Wildcard FPL Dream very late on, and it's something I thought about a lot after the deadline stream, and I gave it a lot of thought, as you should, because it's a very important decision, and I just felt it was the best thing for my team, even though originally I was very skeptical, but that news about Game Week 28 and 29 fixtures really changed my mind. Pope and Livramento, Robertson, De Gea, Foster. That's a good question. I'd go for Pope and Livramento, but I'm not sure Livramento starts. That's the problem there. And that could be an issue. But I definitely prefer Pope over De Gea or Foster next week. I only have 1 wildcard chip available, no free hits. Is waiting for 36 the best timing? No free hits. Waiting until 36 to wildcard, I'm not sure about that. I think either Game Week 28 or 31-35. One of those game weeks I think would be best. Rudiger in 28 for you if the double is confirmed? Yeah, I think so. That's another idea. In terms of who I'd get rid of though, maybe Robertson, I guess. But I'm not too sure about that because Robertson has a double in 29 and I don't think that makes too much sense. But Rudiger's someone I definitely look to bring in at some point, yeah. And he's the only Chelsea player I really want. Ziyech is someone that's pretty interesting. Mason Mount could be another one. Lukaku, though, he could become a good option at one point, but I don't know, haven't seen enough in the Premier League from him. But yeah, that team would look pretty good. And then looking at Game Week 29, that's, by the way, if I bring in Dennis. I might not even do that in the end. So yeah, Robertson would have the double, so we'd go for something like this, and Ramsdale would come in for Jose Sarr. Jose Sarr and Ramsdale rotate very well. It's just a shame they're very expensive. Salah would be the triple captain potentially, and yeah, could go on Heung-min-Son or Arnold for the vice captaincy. Any other changes? Maybe Dennis in for Jimenez? Actually, no, Digne would come out. I don't really trust him there. And yeah, Dennis or Coutinho would come in, something like that. But yeah, that's just with 2 transfers really, and that's what, Dennis coming in. Yeah, I think this looks pretty solid, but let's wait and see. And as for Game Week 30, my team also looks pretty decent. So Ramsdale, Trent wouldn't play. Aston Villa would. So yeah, here we go. Trent out for Digne. Yeah, Wolves as well. So you go. We've got a back 3. That's pretty good. Salah out for Coutinho. So yeah, the only ones blanking from my team here, I think, is Son, possibly Dennis, and Broja, depending. Yeah, I think Broja's the other one. But yeah, already pretty well set for Game Week 30 as well. And in Game Week 31, my team looks pretty good, so getting out of it. Why won't Livramento start? It's not... Look, just to make it very clear, I don't think Livramento is definitely going to be benched, but I'm not that sure if he continues to start because Perard was the first choice before his illness. I resisted hitting the wild card, did triple captain Salah instead of sticking to my original plan. Yeah, no, look, I think there's no right or wrong answer there. It's a team-dependent question, and both strategies could work. One might work better than the other, but I think that's, fair play. Not keen on free at 27, have all chips. Yeah, if you don't want to free in 27, you could use the free in 30. You can wildcard in 28, and you could then use the bench boost in 36 and the triple captaincy in 29, Sharia, unless you've used it already. Otherwise, you can maybe wildcard in 31, dead end your team into 30 and not use the free hit there, and possibly use your 2 free hits later on in the season. So there's different ways to go about it. Mind you, there's a chance of Arsenal doubling in 28, exactly. That's why I really like the Arsenal players. Chelsea's not a great fixture though, but you never know. Lukaku had under 10 touches in the game. Yeah, I think it's like a record for the lowest touches. I think it was 7. Laporte or Livramento for future 4 game weeks. I still prefer Laporte out of the 2. Dennis and Saka to Son and Broja for Game Week 27 because I've used my wildcard now. Yeah, I'd do that, Sidindra. Fason Che Adams, he's shown some good form. I still prefer Broja just because of the value, but Che Adams is looking good too. Fason wildcard 28 and bench boost 29. Yep, that looks good too. I think the bench boost looks better in 28 for most people, but for you, if you stack up your team in a certain way, I think that makes sense, name. Yeah. I want to bring out Son, but don't know who to take out, either Bruno, which means I don't take a hit, or Bowen or Van Dijk out for Son, and a 4 million defender. Yeah, it's not ideal. I still think you'd want a bit of coverage or squad depth. Yeah, Livramento was class. That assist was fantastic. The way that ball just stood in the air for several seconds was fantastic. Doesn't Walker-Peters move wings to accommodate Livramento? Yeah, that's a good point as well. I think Livramento, look, he can reclaim his place. He obviously showed it, that he has so much talent yesterday, but let's just wait and see. Yeah, Livramento had a massive game yesterday, yeah. I think, look, if I had known he would have started yesterday, I would have kept him on the wild card, potentially, over Digne or something like that. But still not regretting it too much. Livramento, though, fantastic performance. We know what he's capable of. Southampton haven't kept too many clean sheets recently, but there you go. Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic? In FPL, neither. I'm not trying to be funny there. I just don't like either of them. Consider Ziyech or maybe Rudiger if you really want Chelsea players. And obviously you wouldn't want to bring them in right now. They blank in 27. Keep Martinelli, got him on wildcard 25. Well, he's now going to be available again, but with Smith Rowe's goal, does Martinelli then get back in straight away? I don't think that, forgetting the names here, I don't think Smith Rowe deserves to be benched, but then again, it's good competition for places there. Bench boost in 28 or 36? I would rather use it in 36, but we don't know how 36 is going to turn out yet. Thank you, Mickey. Been watching for over a year and your work is amazing. Work rate. Big up yourself. Thank you very much, Mickey. Much appreciated for always tuning in. It's a blessing, so thank you very much. Is Corny a viable option for the captaincy? Look, he's not a bad option. I'm just not too sure. I think I'd rather captain Weghorst or a single game player like Bruno, maybe De Bruyne, Mahrez, Son, Kane. I'm not too sure about Corny. But that's not a bad shout. 58 points, triple captaincy, Trent and Vice Salah. Yeah, and Trent will probably start the second game, but that's still a good score. I've had Smith Rowe since he was 5.3 million. He's been brilliant. He was going to transfer him out this week, but now not sure. Yeah, I think he's the 4th or 5th top scorer in the Premier League, which is incredible. And he's got way less minutes than those above him, and also no penalties. So, yeah, Smith Rowe's had a great season. It's hard to get rid of him. Smith Rowe punt worked out. Fair play. Yeah, Smith Rowe. I still would have probably got rid of him because I'm not sure if he's nailed long term, so fair play. FPL.team is the website, Almo. I prefer Coutinho over Weghorst. That's understandable, even though Coutinho only had a single game week, that's understandable. If I make transfers to game week 28 and then activate the free hit for 27, will I lose points? You won't lose points, but your transfers will be cancelled out. So that means even if you took hits, even if you made no transfers or whatever, you're going to have one free transfer heading into 28 and your team will be how it was in 26. So before you activate the free hit in 27. Hopefully that makes sense. Time to get rid of Bowen. Yeah, if you're wildcarding, then yes, I think so. But I still like him against Wolves. In 28, though, that's a good opportunity to get rid of him. And honestly, look, everyone's team is different. But I think if you're looking to wildcard soon, consider using it in 28. Explain the free hit chip to me. So the wildcard is permanent. So all the moves you make are permanent. The free hit is for one game week specifically. So let me actually show you here. Let me get this, just sort this out a little bit. So yeah, this is a free hit draft for 27. You can completely change your team. No hits are going to happen. That's why it's a free hit. And your team will be like this for 1 week. But then going into game week 28, which is what I've been talking about as well, your team will be how it was in game week 26. So before you made any transfers in 27. So it doesn't matter whether you saved up, whether you used one transfer, two, or if you took hits. It doesn't matter. Going into the next week, you're going to have one free transfer, but no hits were incurred from making a team specifically designed for 1 game week. So hopefully that makes sense. So free hit is for 1 game week, wildcard is permanent. That's the main difference. Smith Rowe will score even when benched anyways. Yeah, there was that period where he scored like 2 or 3 games in a row from the bench. It's incredible. You're not looking to get any City or Chelsea players in? I already wildcarded no name. That's why I've got the team I have right now. I'm looking to potentially get a Chelsea or City player, potentially, but I'm more keen on Chelsea, I think. And City, there could be rotation. Cancelo I like a lot, but yeah, he'd be what a like-for-like replacement for Robertson. Is 85 points with 11 players game left to play good? I think you know the answer to that question, Jet. Can someone please explain? Yeah, I already answered that. I will do. I already answered that. Can you do a video on top targets for upcoming game weeks for various chip strategies? That could be something. I think a few weeks ago I made a video for the best players for game week 25 and 26. I could do something similar there as well. Any Newcastle players worth punting on? I would have said Saint-Maximin, but he's injured. Then maybe Trippier, again injured, and Dubravka. Those would be my top 3 picks, Tech. They have double game week 28 and 29. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Chris Wood could be a shout, and maybe Dubravka. But let's bear in mind, I think all of those fixtures you said in 28 and 29 are away. And Newcastle have looked good, but they're still not reliable. So I wouldn't double or triple up. I think one's enough. Dubravka and Saint-Maximin would be good, but let's wait and see if he comes back. When will Chelsea double? There's still a chance they have a double in 28, but I'm not sure when that's going to be exactly. It could be, after game week 31. Dallo or Shaw game week 27? I'd say Shaw if you can afford it. Brozier or Adams? Yeah, Adams has looked better, but I still prefer Brozier, just for the value. Yeah, I already answered that question, Michael. Weghorst or Kane? Look, it's difficult to compare them. Different price brackets. If you can afford, then Harry Kane for me. But Son is my preference out of those two. And Weghorst offers better value for money. But then again, both of them did incredibly well this week. Will they do it on a consistent basis? Kane probably. Weghorst, let's wait and see. Alba scored 2 goals earlier. I heard he scored a hat-trick, Sidindra. But if not, yeah, it was a double. Let me actually check that. Because I heard someone scored a hat-trick. No. Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he scored a hat-trick. When I initially checked, there was 2 goals for Aubameyang. So it was 4-1, but he scored twice. Now it's a hat-trick. So maybe he got a touch or something for the hat-trick. He loves playing against them. He did it for Arsenal as well in the Europa League a few years ago. Yeah, thank you, the Flying Dutchman. Cody or Tierney, considering double game weeks? Cody. And I said this even before 26. And I like Tierney a lot. I like Arsenal's defence. I'd go for Cody, though, and Ramsdale in goal. Would De Bruyne be a good option? No doubt about it. I've never said De Bruyne is a bad option. But if you look at my best free hit team, as you can see on screen, I just like this balance, you know, going for double City attack or maybe defence, having Mahrez in there, Bruno Fernandez, Son and Kane. I just like this balance, but De Bruyne is good. You know, if you want to go for him over Bruno or Son, go for it. I would recommend Son, though, this week. I think he's very good. He's poised for a big score. Will it look good? Yes, but that's his first goal of the season, and I wouldn't get him in right now. Maybe for the doubles in 28 and 29. Not a bad shout. Are you free hitting? I probably am, but I'm still open-minded because my team isn't too bad, you know, without transfers. Cancelo out for a Wolves defender. Not a bad shout either. Against Everton, though, I don't think it makes sense this week, actually. Big win. Maybe do it in 28, but not right now. Bowen, Coutinho or Sterling. Long term, maybe I'd say Coutinho for that double in 28, but it's very tough. Bowen's been the best of the lot, and Sterling's been in great form. Verko's good for 27, or has that boat sailed? I don't think it has sailed, and he's got some good fixtures around Gameweek 29, 31, etc., so I don't think so. Yeah, Sancho's a good option on a free hit. I prefer Mahrez, but if you can get Mahrez and Sancho, so if you have enough money, get Sancho instead of Foden. I think that would be really good. I'm going to try find a way, actually, to get Sancho in for Foden. I would actually like that quite a lot. So, yeah, I think I'd be, how much off? Yeah, 0.8 million off with this team. So let me know what you would do to facilitate these moves. Maybe looking at the bench, but then Jacob Ramsey to a 4.4 million midfielder. That's something I could do. But then I still need a little bit more money. Livramento, actually. He could become a 4 million defender. Let me actually just do something like this quickly. So Marty, I think that would be good. Yeah. And then Ramsey to a 4.4. It doesn't matter. It could be Gilmore or something. Yeah, Gilmore. So yeah, that could actually look pretty good. I think Sancho's a good option. I might prefer him over Foden this week. But still. Luke Shaw, that's still a bit of an iffy one for me. Yeah, great shout. Great shout about Sancho. Thank you very much, mate. And I was talking about him before, but yeah. Have you pressed the free hit button already? No, I haven't. In terms of why, because I still might not free hit. You know, I'm trying to keep my options open. Simple as that. Shaw or Livramento? Possibly Shaw, but I don't trust either defence. Verkosten for Watkins? Yes, I think that's a good choice. Laporte, Cody or Robertson? Cody for that double in 28. Also the value. Hey Dylan, how's it going, man? Very well, Mohammed. What about you? Thank you very much for tuning in. Would it be worth taking out Watkins for Weghorst, taking into account? Yes, definitely. For 27, 2 City midfielders or 1 and Sancho? 1 and Sancho would be my preference, actually. Yeah. Yeah, in terms of when to play the free hit button, look, if you have a decent team without using a free hit, then just wait until the deadline. So basically a day or so before. But if your team, you know, if you have like 5 players playing in 27, then just play it now and try to get in on these players like Son that are rising in price before they do. 1 transfer in 27, wildcard in 28, and bench boost 29. Looks very solid, Elliot. I like that move. If I hadn't a wildcarded now, I would have used it in 28 or 31 potentially, so that's good. Bruno, Sancho and Mahrez, or Bruno, Mahrez and Sterling. Okay, I would go for... that's a good question. Probably Bruno, Mahrez and Sterling. Yeah, if you can afford it. Yeah, I'd go for that. Shaw to Dalot to save money. Yeah, that's another good shout as well. I just like Shaw's attacking threat. Dalot doesn't necessarily have that. Watch him get an assist now. Verkosten for Laka just for Gameweek 27. I think that's just a good move long term, but you probably want to get him back for the double in 29. Who to sell, King or Antonio? Not a big fan of either, but I'd sell Antonio right now. Veltman to Williams at 3.9. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, let's do that as well. Good shouts. Thank you very much in the chat. I would still try to get one decent bench option if you can. So maybe instead of Amati, go for Livramento, something like this, just to have a bit of squad depth. So yeah, this looks pretty decent. And if not, you could get Jacob Ramsey instead of Gilmore. Let me know what you think of this team. Once again, with a free hit, you want to primarily focus on your starting 11. And I would go for something like this. I wouldn't go for Ronaldo right now. He could go big against Watford, but Harry Kane, definitely a preference. Bruno Fernandez, Son and Mahrez, I prefer all of them. Same with Sancho, considering his recent form. So with a free hit, you also want to get a few differentials. So I don't think it tells you, yeah, it doesn't tell you the ownership, but some of these players are very low owned. So I would definitely consider it. And actually, 1 second. Let me check the ownerships for you. And yeah, it's something else to consider, and it could definitely give you that boost you need. Could you afford Laporte over Shaw? No, I've got 0 million in the bank, exactly. So, yeah, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, I've got 0 million left with this team. Otherwise, I would go for Laporte over Shaw. I completely agree. That's a great shout. I think a lot of you will have more money than me and more value, so I would go for Laporte over Shaw if you can. So let's actually check this. Hopefully the app doesn't act up too much, so we can actually get this done quickly. All right. Bowen and De Bruyne or Mahrez and Sancho? Good question. I think I'd lean towards Mahrez and Sancho, but both are fine. No guarantee Shaw plays. Could easily be Telles. Yeah, that's a good point. And maybe you could just go for Dallo, but yeah, that's a good point. I still think Shaw will play, but that's not a bad shout. I'm going to sell Salah, Saka, Trent for 27 for Mahrez, me, and Kane. Then wildcard. Yeah, that's a good shout. That's really good. I like that, and that's a good strategy. And you don't need to play the free hit there. Thank you, I will do. I prefer KWP over Dallo. He's been playing like a left wing and has 3 shots. He's been looking very threatening. Some of his shots have been top quality as well. Really good shouts here in the chat. I'm going to just check the ownership for you. So Pope is owned by 3.2% of the game. That is crazy. So I would definitely go for him on a free hit. Doesn't mean he's definitely going to haul, but I just like that upside and the ownership. What about Ben Mee? 1% ownership. Tarkowski's 1.5. Roberts at 0.2. Another one. Really good value for money. He is a bit more likely to be rotated than Ben Mee or Tarkowski. But, you know, got an assist at the weekend as well. Who else is there? So Luke Shaw. Oh, he was like 50% owned at the beginning of the season. What is he now? Probably way less. Maybe not as much of a differential as we'd hope. Yeah, 12.8%. Not a big fan of that. Who else do we have? Cancelo, yeah, he's owned by a lot of people. I think Mahrez might have decent ownership. So let's see. Mahrez. 3.8%. Love it. Absolutely love it. Sancho is going to be another one, I think. Let's see. Sancho. 2.5% ownership. I'm loving this so far. Even Verkhorst, he's going to get quite a lot of new owners now, but what's his ownership? He was like 2% before. Let's get him up here on screen. .9% ownership. That will probably go up to like 4 or 5%, maybe even more by the deadline. But yeah, some very good ownership figures. The rest will be kind of, you know, owned by a lot of people, but that's quite a lot of differentials here on the free hit. Son or Bruno? I still prefer Son, but Bruno's looking good too. Is this a free hit? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Obviously, you don't have to just go for this. You might go for Sterling instead of one of these premiums. You could go for Laporte in defence. But I think generally this is one of the best wildcard, or should I say free hit teams you could use. I definitely wouldn't wildcard this. So let's just double check this for a second. So yeah, there's over 350 of you watching, so thank you very much. We reached 10,000 subscribers today, so thank you to everyone. Let's try to get this video to 150 likes. Thank you very much. And I've also launched Patreon if you want to support the channel even further. It's basically the same perks as the YouTube channel memberships, but also as a captain or legend in Patreon, you get bonus content, including behind the scenes content. So thank you very much to everyone who's already signed up as a channel member on YouTube, those who have joined the Discord server. All the links are in the description below, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. We're almost at 1,000 followers on both of those platforms too. So thank you very much to everyone. And yeah, on screen, as you can see, this is the best free hit team, or one of the best that you can make. Some of you may have more money, so you could actually improve this even further. So let me know what you think. But pretty happy with this actually, and this would probably push me towards using the free hit. So this is how my team looks like without the free hit. You know, 9 players, don't need to free hit, but there's no City players, there's no Kane, no Bruno Fernandez, and not as many differentials. So I'm very tempted actually to play the free hit. Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Foster to a 3.9. Yeah, that's another way of making money. Are you a United fan? No. Arsenal fan. Cancelo out for a Wolves defender in 28? Yes. You don't have to, though. Cancelo's still a great top draw, and he's fixture proof. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. Is 33 a blank game week? It could be a mixture of blanks and doubles, but we're not sure yet. Livramento should be starting. Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. I still think Norwich are decent, though. You know, they've shown some quality recently. They caused problems to Liverpool as well. Rudiger for Van Dijk in 28 or 30 after the Liverpool double? Great question. But the thing is, though, Chelsea probably won't blank in 30. So it'd have to be Game Week 31 here. But yeah, I think it's a good shout either way. I would prefer Rudiger long-term than Van Dijk. So if Rudiger were to have a double in 28, I just make the move. But either way, that's fine. If not, 31's good enough. Should I free hit? I've got 2 blanks in Nuri, Watkins, Elise, Edouard, which are all rotation risks. It's a bit similar to me there. I think you don't need to free hit, but it would really improve your team, and you can get a lot of differentials. How many differentials in a team? In terms of how many you should have, I don't think there's a set number, because you also have to trust the players. It's not just, oh, he has 1% ownership, let me get him in. And some of these players like Ben Mee and Nick Pope, you know, they've got doubles, and that's the kind of main appeal of them, not because they're low owned. The fact that they're low owned, you know, really improves the appeal for me, but that doesn't mean they have to be low owned, if you know what I mean. Hopefully I haven't just confused you there. Sancho as well, you know, looking really good recently. Why not get ahead of the curve and gain something over those who don't have him? I don't think it makes too much sense to maybe go for, you know, too many template players like Jeroboam and stuff, because you're not going to gain too much. But Son, Kane, Bruno Fernandez, they're all owned by a lot of people. So having all of them and some differentials is a nice sweet spot. Is Chelsea and Arsenal playing in 28? In terms of that double, it's not confirmed yet. It's still a possibility, but I wouldn't count on it. Would Laporte to Cancelo and then Foden to KDB be good on a free hit? Yes, I think 2 upgrades there. I prefer triple City over triple United, even as a United fan. Oh, definitely, you know. I'm not going to suddenly think United are a great defence. If I had enough money, I would go for Laporte instead of Shaw. So that's a good shout. City are a much better team. Greetings from Florida, just tuning in. Hope it's green arrows all around for everyone. Thank you, John. And yeah, there's a lot of great scores in the chat, so it's all good. Thank you, I will do. Much appreciated. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. If I haven't, then let me know. I hate pronouncing things wrong. Son or Bruno? Son, even this week. Any week, probably Son for me. I probably will free hit, but I've only got 1 free hit. That's where, look, if you only have 1 free hit, I would reconsider or at least evaluate using the free hit in another week, because having that being used in 30, 36 or another double or blank game week would be very important too. So be very careful. Go on FPL.team, Golden Boys, and see how your team would look like in future game weeks, and when you would also consider using the chip. Obviously, we don't have the full picture yet. We don't know which doubles and blanks are going to fall in game weeks 30 and beyond. There could still be more. But yeah, I think I would reconsider and be very careful there if you have 1. Chelsea Arsenal double depends on cup results. Yeah. There's a lot of things that are going to depend on cup results. Game week 30 as well. There could be more fixtures. Is Sancho a bigger rotation risk than City assets like Sterling and Mahrez? I think with Sancho's form, not necessarily. I don't necessarily think also Sterling and Mahrez will be benched a lot, but it could happen the week you bring them in. But if I had enough money, I would go for Sterling over Sancho, yes, but I don't. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Thank you very much. Salah or Fernandez for the coming game weeks? It's Salah all day long. But for 27, Fernandez, easily. Because Salah doesn't play. Obviously, that's a bit of an easy one. Who should I change Region for? I'd go for Cody. Just because that double in 28, great fixtures long term, doesn't blank in 30. I think there's too many, positive signs. Thank you, Ashlyn. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone as well. Son or Weghorst as captain? I'm not fully decided on it yet, but right now I'd go for Weghorst. But both are good. And we've got how many people in the chat? So yeah, 270. Thank you very much. Let's get this video to 150 likes. And we've just reached 10,000 subscribers. So that's a bit complicated actually what I've just done there. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone. And we're going to try to get to even more milestones. But yeah, everything is much appreciated. And yeah, you can join the league code if you haven't already, 886RGT. All the socials are in the description below. I've launched a Patreon as well. You can become a channel member by clicking the join button. Let's see, what else have we got? 3 and 27 with 10 players and no Burnley players. Once again, it depends on the quality of your players. If you've got a lot of, Edwards and, players that you think might be rotated, then a free is worth it. But if you already have Son, Kane, Bruno, Cancelo, if you've got like 2 or 3 of those players, I don't think you need to. I don't have any Arsenal player. Is it worth a free hit? Well, you wouldn't want to bring in an Arsenal player right now because they blank in 27. So yeah, I don't think you need to free hit to bring in an Arsenal player because they blank anyway. Thank you very much. How likely is Arsenal versus Chelsea in 28? Yeah, in terms of the cup results that decide this, I think it's the Chelsea, their game in the FA Cup that decides it. I could be wrong about that, by the way. In terms of how likely it is, I think Chelsea will win anyway, so I'm not too sure it's going to happen. Thank you very much, Sario. Thank you very much. Will Trent start? I think so. In the second game in 26, he will. First time here, liking your style. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Hopefully you tune in for more UCL Fantasy and FPL videos. How about Roberts for me? Yeah, I talked about him earlier, briefly, admittedly, but yeah, I do like him too. I think he might be rotated though with Lowton potentially in one of those games in 27. That's the only thing there. How's your team looking like this week, Dylan? I'm on 62 with 6 players yet to play. Yeah, I'll show that soon because we've talked a lot about Game Week 27. So this is how my team would look like. Let's actually show you. So this is how my team would look like in Game Week 30 roughly. And Game Week 28. So yeah, this is how my team would look like in Game Week 28. I'll keep that on screen for you lot. Yeah, I might bench boost this week, by the way. So it doesn't really matter. Coutinho could come in for Jared Bowen. That's one possible transfer. And the other one would be Dennis in for Weghorst in 28, just for that double. But that's not completely settled or decided yet. But that would look pretty good. Just a -4 after free hitting. And I would have a very good bench. It doesn't really matter. I could bench boost that. Arsenal could have a double there as well. So it's looking pretty good there. But let's go now into how my team is looking like right now in Game Week 26 so far. So yeah, 64 points and still quite a lot of things yet to happen there. So Bowen, starting him over Rafinha was a mistake. But yeah, I kind of made my bed there. The rest, though, I think I made the right decision despite Robertson and Trent being benched. And Ramsdale or Sarr. I mean, wow, look how many points Sarr got. I didn't realise that. He got 4 points. Yeah, but I don't really regret it too much, starting Ramsdale over him. But yeah, it's not looking too bad so far. Is Tierney worth 0.6 million more than White? Good question, actually. I think so. But White offers good value too. Any thoughts on Jimenez long term? I'm not a big fan of Jimenez, but because he doesn't blank in 30, has a great double in 28, had a double in 26, doesn't blank in 27, and great fixtures long term, I think he's one of the better strikers. But before the double game at 28 and 29 news, I was just thinking of avoiding him. But then with Edouard also being benched against Chelsea, that all changed my mind. And you have to sometimes be willing to adapt or admit you're wrong about something. And I still don't think Jimenez is great, but he's better than the rest pretty much, except for maybe Kane and a few others. I'm trying to think of other good strikers. Weghorst, I don't know. That's only one good game, so it's quite hard to tell. How do I join the league? So that league code you see, 886RGT, you can copy and paste that into the league section on FPL website or the app, and you will join. If not, there's a link below where you just click on it and you're in the league already. Force on Newcastle attack. I like Saint-Maximin. I don't really like the rest. There's also Dubravka and Trippier if they come back from injury, and obviously it's Saint-Maximin and Trippier that are right now struggling. But the doubles aren't that great, and there's a lot of away fixtures there. I don't trust Salah for the triple. Oh, I did, definitely. I wanted to triple captain him, but I'm also trying to think long term. My differential Brownhill worked a charm. Yeah, he scored his first goal. I mean, who would have thought that? Fair play. Do Chelsea have to lose for the double in 28 to happen? I think so, but I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure about that. If anyone knows, then let me know in the comment section. There's quite a lot to keep on top of with all these different blanks and doubles. But yeah, I think that's the case. Does Champions League have fantasy? Yes, it does. I've been making videos and streams about that. UCL fantasy is a thing. You can maybe go into it, try it out, and then next season be fully ready. Son over Fernandez gaming. Yeah, I'd go for Son. Should I get rid of Conor for Neves? Oh, Conor Gallagher for Neves. I wouldn't get Neves, despite his haul today. Should I get Jimenez in my Game Week 28 wildcard? Yeah, he looked awful and still got an assist. I have to keep stressing this. I don't think he's amazing. I literally don't. I haven't changed my mind on that. But because of the double in 28 and some very good fixtures and no blanks, that's why I've gone for him. And yes, I'd still go for him on a wildcard, but you don't need him. And if he had enough money, Kane would definitely be ideal on a wildcard. I made a mistake with Edouard too. Brought him in 25 trying to be clever. I don't think it's trying to be clever though, because Edouard was looking good and then suddenly he got benched and now he's just such a rotation risk. Yes, I used my wildcard very late on, unfortunately. So I did a deadline stream on Friday. And then after that, for a lot of hours, going very late into the night. I don't want to admit what time I was up until, making this kind of different drafts and stuff. But I was doing a lot of research, checking out different things, and I decided the wildcard was the best thing for me. It might turn out wrong, but I'm looking at it long term, not just do I gain points this week, which I already have in a way, and I've gone up in rank, but yeah, let's wait and see. I like the free hit in 27 as well. That's what really appealed to me, because I wouldn't have used the free hit, I think, if I had not wildcarded in 26, but let's wait and see. I could be wrong about it. But yeah, so either a 0-0 draw or Jimenez hat-trick would be good for your FPL, but a Saka hat-trick would be better. What a dilemma to have. Yeah, and I would rather Saka scores a hat-trick anyway. I don't mind if Jimenez blanks, but let's just wait and see. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this effective ownership influences everything, but yeah, FPL is crazy right now. Do you think Kane and Son could be good? Mate, I think in 27, they're not guaranteed to haul, both of them, but I think they're two of the best options in 27. They're in the best free hit team that I showed you earlier. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. And so that's my Gameweek 26 team. These are the fixtures, but it doesn't really matter. This is my Gameweek 27 team, courtesy of the FPL website. And I might free hit that because it's not looking too great. Only Broja, Weghorst, and Son would survive the best free hit team for me. So I actually game, you could argue, 8 players in my starting 11 of high quality, including double or triple City and some good United players with, you know, very low ownership and more double Gameweek players. So yeah, it's quite a lot to think about. Let me actually just show you once again the Gameweek 27 team, because I think that's what most people want to see. So that's my team again, doesn't matter. And there we go. That is the best free hit team, or one of the best. I think Mahrez is more nailed than Foden because Foden hasn't been rested. Yeah, unlike Mahrez. Yeah, and Mahrez is only rested really because of the African Cup of Nations. Saint-Maximin, he's injured right now, but he's someone to think about in 28 and 29. I took out Kane for this week for Salah and Robertson. Damn, yeah. I can see why he did that. You know, he's facing City, hard fixture on paper. Yeah, Kane is too expensive, exactly. That's why if you have enough money, I'd go for him, but Son offers better value for money. Broja or Weghorst long term? It's a difficult one. That's a good question. I think Southampton have the fixtures. We still haven't seen enough from Weghorst, so I'd go for Broja, but I'd be open-minded about that. The reason why I preferred Weghorst in 26 is because he had 2 consecutive doubles, but both are good. What players are essential for a Gameweek 28 wildcard? I'd go for double, maybe even triple Wolves. So I'd go for a Wolves defender. We already know the names. Jose Sarr and maybe Jimenez. In terms of other players, Salah, of course, no doubt about it. Trent. And then other than that, that's where it's a bit open. I'd go for Heung-min Son. I think he's a great option long term. I don't know why people were kind of put off him because he did really poorly against Wolves, because he's been so consistent for a long period of time. So I was happy that people were kind of off him in a way. Other players to include on a wild card, it's quite difficult. I think one of Ramsdale or Sarr for sure. So I'd go for one of those goalkeepers, if not both. If you can afford it, why not? And Cancelo's still not bad. He's still a really good player, but you don't have to go for him. And Rudiger, I think Rudiger's the main one from Chelsea. So that's kind of some ideas there. And when the time comes, I'll be making a best wildcard team video for 28, just like I'll be making a best free hit team video for 27 as well. And recently we've been doing hybrids of these videos. So I've been doing a best free hit team, then at the very end I do a wildcard and vice versa. So that could still be the case in these weeks as well. But honestly, for most people, I wouldn't recommend using the wildcard this week. It's just very difficult to navigate 27, 28 and 29, even 30 with a wildcard. I think it makes more sense to free hit this week and then wildcard out of it if you want to do that. My free hit is pretty much the same as yours, but I have Sterling over Sancho. You have enough money for that, then yeah, I'd definitely go for it. But my team value is awful, so I can't afford it. Forget that, I've seen you gone for Ben Mee, says Jim. Honestly, look, I think if Tarkowski's fit, he's as good if not better, but because he's a bit of a doubt, and also he's a bit cheaper, Ben Mee. But yeah, that's why I've gone for him. But I think both are great. Also, Roberts, the only thing I'd say about him, though, is that he's a bit more likely to be rotated with Lowton. What do you think of 4th place race, Dylan? Reckon your Arsenal or Man United will get it? I don't think West Ham will get it. They still have a chance, but I don't think they will. It's between Arsenal, Spurs and United. With Spurs' recent late goals and stuff, I have a feeling they could get it. It's tough, though. I think it's just between those 3. I'm not sure who's going to get it, but all of them have a good chance, and they've got different strengths. I think United have the best team or starting 11 on paper. Arsenal have the best defence, and Spurs have Son and Kane. None of the other teams really have players of that quality producing on a consistent basis. So it's difficult. Shaw and Sterling or Laporte and Sancho? Wow, that's a good question. I'd go for Laporte and Sancho, but both are fine. Yeah, I think I might free hit in 27. I think Mahrez will play next week, but you never know. Should I buy Weghorst now before the price rise? I'd still wait because a lot can happen. There could be injuries and stuff like that, but Weghorst is a good purchase, yeah. Is Livramento a regular starter? He was, but then he lost his place. Perard became the first choice along with Kyle Walker-Peters. Who knows, though? With that performance, he may have reclaimed his spot, but it's very difficult. Southampton have a bit of depth now in the fullback positions. What's the best plan for those who still have the wild card? Exactly, Akrath. I think 28 is probably the best time to use it, if not Game Week 31. That's what I would do. Have a feeling that one of me or Tarkowski will score and I'll choose the wrong one. Yeah. And also, looking at the fixtures, Crystal Palace and Leicester, two teams that struggle a lot from set pieces. So if you don't go for Nick Pope, consider going for Ben Mee and Tarkowski as two of your defenders, and you're kind of sorted there in terms of the attacking threat. So that's a great shout. Will Robbo and Trent start against Leeds? I think so, and I'd be very surprised if they don't. But yeah, I think both of them will start. How about Hwang over Jimenez in 28? I've kept Hwang all this time he was injured. Yeah, but he hasn't really got a sniff, and he's been available for several weeks now, and he hasn't been starting. I'd go for Jimenez still. Yeah, Ward-Prowse is an excellent shout. Excellent shout. Do you think this is the best free hit team next week? With my money, yes. I think some people can afford Sterling instead of Sancho. That's another thing you could do. I would go for Laporte over Shaw, if you can. Other than that, that's pretty much, in my opinion, the best free hit team. But obviously, everyone has their own opinions. There could be another suggestion. Originally, I had Foden instead of Sancho and Laporte instead of Shaw. But yeah, something like this I'd go for. And you could even start Livramento. When you're planning on using your bench boost, maybe 28. I showed it earlier, but my team is looking good for 28. With a free transfer on -4, I could have a very good bench, and Arsenal could double. And if they do, I think the bench boost looks very good. Do I need to free hit? I got one free transfer. I would free hit with that team. Yeah, obviously it's just my opinion, but I honestly would, because it's, you have quite a lot of players who are starting, but Højbjerg, not really a great FPL option. Even King, I would argue. The rest are pretty decent, but you can improve on that. You can get triple Burnley, you can get some United, Spurs, City players. I'd go for a free hit. Foden start against Everton? I believe so, but with Pep, I just try not to predict too much anymore because it's very difficult. Foden has started the vast majority of games recently, so I believe he will. Yeah, but let's wait and see. Tariq puts his team. My team for 27, what do you think? It's a good team, actually. So I'm not a big fan of Cash against Brighton, but the rest looks fantastic, actually. Yeah, so free hit. I would maybe consider another defender instead of Cash. So Edison, Cancelo, that's a bit interesting. So you've got me or Livramento. I would go for me over Livramento. Yeah, Son, Bruno, Foden, Coutinho. I'm not sure how much money you have in the bank, but I would go for Mahrez instead of Foden if you can. Maybe Sancho instead of Coutinho. And I would go for Pope instead of Edison. And instead of Cash, you can go for Luke Shaw, you can go for Laporte, or you can go for me and Livramento. So yeah. Who should I remove for Weghorst, King or Edouard? I have Dennis already. I mean, Wolves, or should I say Watford, have a double very soon. I just don't like King, and Edouard is just so rotation risk. It's very tough. I don't like either of them, but I still prefer Edouard. You just have to stomach the benchings though. So I would get rid of King. Foden, Sterling, Mahrez or KDB? If you have enough money, then it's between Mahrez or... That's tough. Based on recent form, I'd say Sterling, but KDB, do not write him off. But I really like Mahrez this week. Dylan, I'm not quite sure on Sancho. Watford have improved significantly. That's true. That is a good point. So maybe double United attack isn't the greatest idea. That's a good shout, yeah. Watford have been poor offensively, but defensively they have shored things up. Will triple Liverpool, Saints, Wolves and Villa. I'm also bench boosting in 28. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. Arsenal could double as well. I'm not sure if you have any Arsenal players. Worth keeping Edouard and King for the next 3 game weeks. There's not many strikers, but Kane, Broja, Jimenez, Weghorst, I think they all offer better value. Even Che Adams. So you could maybe sell one of them. In this case, I'd probably sell King for one of those strikers I mentioned. Even Dennis. I think Dennis is a better option than King, and he always has been. Antonio and Calvert-Lewin, should I sell them? Yes, I probably would, especially Antonio. 28 Kupsi. I'm potentially bench boosting in 28. If I don't, then it'll be 36. But I'm open-minded. It could be another double game week, who knows. But right now, 28 or 36. Short or Laporte? I'd probably go for Laporte. I'm rolling the dice for 27-30 with triple Southampton. Yeah. James Ward-Prowse, Walker-Peters and Forster. Yeah, that's really good, John. I like that. And James Ward-Prowse is my favourite of the three. Will Reguilon play? I think he will play the second game. Yeah, if he's fit, he's definitely playing for me. Sessegnon had a bit of a bad game against City. Should I get Newcastle keeper as my second? Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Ramsdale blanks. And also 2 doubles in a row for Newcastle. But if you can afford it, Jose Sarr would be my preference. Bednarek or Livramento? I'd go for Livramento. Thoughts on Gundogan? Can't afford Foden. Yeah, he did score, but I'm still not a big fan of Gundogan. I wouldn't go for him. And not this season anyway. Last season, different animal, but not right now. If you have the money, should change Che Adams to Broja. Yeah, I don't have enough money, but that's a good shout as well, Che Adams. Grass FC feasting. Look, stats are very important as well, and they give us a good indication of what could happen on the grass. But you can't ignore football and actually watching football for yourself. I think a combination of both is the best. Football, though, always triumphs for me over stats, but both of them obviously feed off each other. So that's obviously a debate to be had. Yeah, let's just move on. Will you be getting in Leicester players for 30? Good question. I think I'd possibly consider Maddison, but I'm not a big fan of Leicester anyway, so yeah, it's not really a big miss. If I was free hitting in 30, then I would go for some, a Daka, Maddison, and some Brentford players potentially. That could be a really high scoring game. Adams or Broja? I still prefer Broja for the money, but Adams is in better form, and both are good options right now. Rate my team. That's a good team for 27, but if you have a free hit, I would consider using it, Timor. 27 game week, says Vivek. Well, yeah, I might free hit there, if that's what you're asking. I can also get Foster. Who should I get for Foster? Because they're amazing defensively now. I wouldn't go that far. They're not amazing defensively, but they're much better than they were before. Because they hadn't kept a clean sheet for like a year or something, and now with Roy Hodgson they've kept 2, including 1 against Villa away. So they're better. Ben Foster's a good second goalkeeper, but I wouldn't prioritise that transfer, honestly. And yeah, Jose Sarr, Ramsdale, there's still better keepers out there. Then again, though, yes, I can understand why you want to go for it, but I wouldn't be in a rush to get a Watford defender or goalkeeper. Best chip strategy? I don't think there's necessarily a best chip strategy. I don't want to sit on the fence. I'm going to give you my ideas in terms of what I think is the best, but it depends on your team. For some of you, it might be best to wildcard in 28, then bench boost in 29. For others of you, it might still be to wildcard in 28, but then bench boost in 36. And the same can be for the free hit. You can free hit in 27 or 30 or both of them. Then there's also 33, 36, maybe another double or blank. So I don't think it's that simple. And in my opinion, bench boosting in 28, or sorry, wildcarding in 28, bench boosting possibly in 29 or 36, and stuff like that. Maybe free hitting in 27 and 30. That's what I was looking to do beforehand, or if not, free hitting in 33 and 30. So I don't think that's necessarily a best chip strategy, and it's just so team dependent right now. We'll be making a Game Week 27 video just summing up what you're going to do with your team. Oh, obviously, yeah, the team selection. I'll be talking about my team and my plans, and it will probably be a free hit team if I decide to do it. And if not, it'll be separate videos anyway. Best free hit team, also my team selection, how it would be without it, and stuff like that. And there would also be a transfer tips video and stuff like that. So yeah. What do you think about this free hit in midfield? Son, Morris, Sterling, Kulusevski. I wouldn't go for Kulusevski, but I like the rest. Son, Morris, Sterling look great. If you can, go for Son. But, if you really back Kulusevski, then go for it. I'm just not so sure about it. Thoughts on Barnes to Kulusevski? I'm not a big fan. Barnes, though, isn't great either. But I wouldn't go there. Ward-Prowse didn't return but scooped a bonus point. Yeah, I saw that and it's pretty impressive. Yeah, you do love to see it. If Vardy is back fit before Game Week 30, is he a captaincy shout? I don't think so. No. You should get Dennis. I literally just got rid of him and I wasn't actually that surprised that he scored. He's someone I might get in for Game Week 28, but yeah. I'm not too sure still. Watford aren't great offensively. Cash or Digne in general? Digne. Best Southampton defender nailed for double game week. I'd say probably Kyle Walker-Peters. But then they could do a bit of rotation there. It could be Kyle Walker players playing one game, then it could be Parade, Livramento as well. They're going to kind of rotate a little bit potentially there with those three. I have to get rid of Ronaldo for Broja, leaving me with money for Son, but doing this means I bench Cancelo -4, keep 10 million in the bank, or do -4. I really like Son though, but this week Ronaldo is facing Watford. I'd still go for Son though, and you could also find another way. You know, bench Livramento, for example, instead of Cancelo. I want to remove Van Dijk for a defender, not from City or Liverpool, because I want two midfielders. Rudiger, Abir. Rudiger's the easy one for me. Will Reece James be available in Game Week 28? I'm not too sure about that. I think he was supposed to be out for 2 months, so he should be back within the next few weeks. I'm not entirely sure. It could be 28, 29 or 30, who knows, but I think he should be back fairly soon. Let's wait and see how the injury has developed though. Which Chelsea players are must? I think Rudiger's the best one, and if you want an attacker, Ziyech looks like the best one right now. Welcome to Fantasy Football Lad, I'm doing well. What about you? Thank you for tuning in. Double Southampton and United players in 27. That's fine. Livramento and Broja, or James Ward-Prowse and Broja. You know, it's up to you there. United, I'd probably go for Bruno and either Sancho or Shaw. Sancho or Foden, I'd actually lean towards Sancho, but as people have pointed out, Watford have improved recently. Welcome FPL Flair, thank you for tuning in. Rafinha or Saka? Just in general, I prefer Saka actually, but Rafinha's good too. The thing I like about Rafinha is he doesn't blank in 27. He plays in 30. He has another double coming up, so yeah, I can see the appeal of Rafinha. It's very close though between them, but I prefer Saka. Rudiger, I'm planning to get one from 27. Yeah, Rudiger looks good. Newcastle has 2 double game weeks. Is Fraser Wood an option? They're not bad, but I'm not too keen on them. I think Saint-Maximin would be the main guy I'd look at, and maybe Dubravka or Trippier, but I wouldn't be that fussed about it. What else? Out of the current fixtures in 30, with Leicester having the best fixture, who else has a better captaincy? Oh yeah, Tech, I thought you meant in terms of this week if Vardy is back. Yeah, no. In 30, I would consider Vardy as the captain, yeah, for sure. Maddison as well. I would also look at the other side. I think Brentford could get quite a few goals there. It doesn't mean I'd captain Mbeumo or Tony or something like that, but they would also be pretty decent. I wouldn't go for any defenders from those teams though. The planner site is called FPL.team. There's also livefpl.net. Check those sites out. They're very, very good. I'm actually going to show you livefpl.net. Wrong one. Here we go. So if you go on this, it tells you your rank. That's how I got the updated rank on screen. And look at this. It shows you on the right who's a differential, if they're a star and stuff like that. So it's all good. Not only that, gives you like a kind of Team of the Year card for your best player, Verkos, the legend. And now look, it tells you how far away you are from certain ranks. So yeah, I'm 2 points away from the top 100k. And then look at this. It tells you how each player has impacted your rank. It's fantastic stuff. So this is livefpl.net. The one you asked for is fpl.team. I'd recommend both of them. So as you can see, Cancelo, even with 1 point, dropped my rank by a bit. Salah, not triple captaining him, has dropped my rank by 10,000. So I'm hoping he doesn't really do too well in the second game, which is surprising. Who else is... Yeah, Dennis, the guy I got rid of, has dropped my rank by 10,000. Kane by almost 4,000. And in terms of the rank gains, look at Verkos and Jimenez. You know, absolute legends. Even Heung-min Son and Saka. All of them have gained my rank significantly. So yeah, very interesting site. And it also shows you other stuff here in terms of teams. So I've gained almost 10 points from Burnley, and I only have Verkos, so that's incredible. And teams like Watford, Liverpool, United, City, Villa and Leeds, I've lost points from all of those teams. So check out these sites. They're very, very good. I would highly recommend them. So yeah, let's get back to this actually, which I showed briefly. So let me know if you want to see any comparisons between certain players. But I've got Son and Fernandez right now. On a free hit, I'd get both. I wouldn't be thinking, do I get Son or Bruno? I just get both. There's also the question of Sterling. I really like him, but you can cover him with Mahrez. And some of you may have enough money. Then I'd double up on City attack. Go for Sterling and Mahrez potentially, or De Bruyne. But Son or Bruno, both great. In 27, I'd go for both. Long term, who is my preference? Heung-min Son. The stats, quite similar actually. But Son, for me, is always the better option for me. Last season, maybe a bit different. Bruno was fantastic. This season, though, I'd still go for Son if I had a choice. I wish I could have both for the long term, but I can't. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think about that. And Chelsea's form makes me cry. Yeah, but they're still getting wins, but just by the narrowest of margins, and they haven't played too many games recently in the Prem. Choice between Sancho and Ward-Prowse for 27. I like both. I'd lean towards Sancho, but Ward-Prowse is a fantastic shout. The Weghorst transfer paid off. I'm one of 3 in a league of 27 who have Weghorst. Fair play, and that's why sometimes, people will be like, well, Weghorst hasn't scored yet, so why are you getting him in? I brought him in early for -8, then wildcarded him in anyway. So, look, sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. Weghorst was showing some impressive signs, and I was just kind of settled on him. I looked at the rest of the strikers, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really like most strikers, so I just go for him. And there you go. So sometimes it does pay off to be different. Should I sell Bruno for Son? No, that's exactly my point here. I wouldn't sell Bruno for Son. I wouldn't sell Bruno. Well, did I just say that? Sell Son for Bruno. I'd get both if possible. Long term, I prefer Son. So maybe consider this in Game Week 28 or 29. Don't do it now. Is Corny or Lennon worth a punt? They are both worth punts. That would be my answer. Corny is my preference. However, Weghorst up front and maybe Tarkowski, me, Roberts in defence and Pope. Those players, get 2 or 3 of those players instead. I'm not that sure about their midfielders. I wildcard in 28, so I bench boost in 29. Yes, even if you wildcard in 28, you could just bench boost in 36. But it makes sense, if you're kind of guaranteeing yourself a good bench in 29, why not do that? Yeah, exactly, the Galactic. And I already answered the question anyway. So, survive one more game week, then wildcard in 28 and bench boost in 29. Yeah, that's a solid idea. I think if I hadn't have wildcarded now, I would be looking to bench boost in 29 or 36. Those wildcarding in 28, I think, yeah, the same thing, applies. I think it's a good idea. If Mahrez doesn't start, it will be disappointing, for sure. That's why it's a risk, and, anything can happen. Anything can happen there. Double C midfield plus Cancelo or double C defence plus KDB? Great question. I would probably go for double City midfield. So Sterling and Mahrez, or if instead of Sterling, go for De Bruyne. I think all of those look good. But yeah, let me know if you want to see any more comparisons. I can show you any players you want and compare them. And I can also have your thoughts, the community, see what you guys think of these players. So let me know what you think about that. So yeah, let's try to get this video to 150 likes. That'd be much appreciated. So if you haven't already, you know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. We hit 10,000 subscribers today, so thank you very much to everyone. It's much appreciated. And yeah, onwards and upwards, as they say. Is it worth to get Son and Kane in the free hit? I think it's worth both. I mean, look at Leeds today, conceding 4. And the way they play just suits Spurs perfectly. Last season, they dismantled them pretty easily. So I would go for the double up, yes, for sure. I'm just not so sure about Burnley performances to get Pope in my team. I think Ederson's better. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. I just think that double. Also, if Burnley were to keep 1 clean sheet, Pope has a really good chance of bonus points. He also makes quite a lot of saves. That's why I would recommend him, but that's a good shout. I chose Mahrez captain for only 1 week this season. It was very good. I'm going to pick him up this week and pick captain. Hopefully the same happens again. I think he would be an exceptional punt, so hopefully it pays off for you again. Jimenez versus Everton in 29 or Bowen versus Aston Villa? Bowen. But yeah, that's kind of thinking very far ahead, but I would go for Bowen. As a Leicester fan, I had such high hopes for this season after we won the Community Shield, and now we're 12 and Rodgers could be sacked. You know who you remind me of? You probably will hate me saying this. Arsenal last season, winning the Community Shield and the FA Cup. Then going into last season, finished 8th in the end. I think Leicester will probably do something very similar. Although, will they finish 8th? That's another question entirely. There's the top 6. There's Wolves as well. Yeah, I think Leicester will struggle to finish top half. I think they ultimately could. But yeah, it's just been such a dismal season. I was a bit surprised as well. I thought Leicester would finish 7th, maybe, or something like that. Is 9 players enough for this week? And should I remove Saka or Bowen? Yes, it is enough this week, but it also depends on the quality of your players. Should I remove Saka or Bowen to get someone from City or Liverpool? I have Mahrez already. I wouldn't get a Liverpool player right now because they blank in 27. Yeah, so maybe Bowen, but he could do well against Wolves. But you could do Bowen out for a City player. That could be a good transfer, but I'm still not too sure. Is it time to get rid of Bernardo? He got an assist, but I'd still sell him. And if so, for who? If we're looking beyond Game Week 27, I think Saka's one of the best. Ahead of Game Week 28, Coutinho, I think that's still a good shout. Rafinha as well, because of no blanks pretty much. So yeah, I'd look at one of those players. I'm not sure how much money you have in the bank, but all of those look good. Dylan, can you show Southampton's fixtures? I know McCarthy will return soon, but I'm loving getting Forster to cover Ramsdale in 27 and think a defender is viable. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to try to get the best screen for you possible, so let me think about this. Let's see, livefpl.net would actually be a pretty good one. Yeah, we're going to go just to the FPL website. Okay. I can't lie, I didn't even put that to happen. Okay, well, relax. Yeah, we already know. We know the business. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyway, so let's go to Southampton. Yeah, if this doesn't look too good, I could change the screen as well. But these are the fixtures for Southampton. They are absolutely incredible. That's why I brought Brozier in on the wild card. And honestly, Ward-Prowse, Walker-Peters, Livramento potentially, Forster, they all look pretty decent. I'm still not a big fan of their defence, but their attack could offer great value. Also, don't forget Che Adams. Let me get this screen up, actually. It doesn't look too great here. So that looks very, very good. Look at those fixtures. Just admire it. That is absolutely incredible. Where do we even begin? Norwich at home. They have improved, but still a decent fixture. Aston Villa away is a good one right now. Newcastle, Watford at home. They have improved a lot as well, but still. Burnley away, Leeds away. And then a few tough fixtures, but that is, you know, season worthy. Who knows? I think you get my point. I think they're worth keeping until the end of the season. So, yeah, that looks fantastic. That's a good shout there. No, Hassan, but thank you very much. There's quite a lot of great content creators out there. My team, Ramsdale, Foster. Yeah, that's a good team. In terms of should you free hit or not, I don't think you need to, but I would possibly consider it. Yeah, because you would improve your goalkeeper. You could get Pope or maybe Edison, whoever. You can get another City player or two. Yeah, I would look to maybe free hit in your case, Fantasy Football Lad, but you don't have to. -8, White for Livramento, Calvert for Adams, and Antonio for Weghorst. What do you think? I like it. I'm not sure if I would take a -8 for those moves. Like White to Livramento, I'm not too sure because, yeah, if Livramento does lose a spot, it's a bit tricky. I like the other two transfers a lot though. Cancelo scores 6 goals against Leeds. Honestly, anything's possible. I think realistically he'll score 2 or 3. And I'll probably just log off for a while. Would you bench boost Foster versus Southampton? Oh yeah, or Jimenez versus Everton, King versus Southampton, or hold for 36 doubles? Would I bench boost that? I'd hold it for the 36 doubles. I don't think it's worth it that week. Thank you to Fantasy Football Lag, much appreciated. You're forgetting what happened last time, Watford versus United. Yeah, no, I think Dennis is a good choice. But things have changed for both teams. And yeah, I mean, that was an incredible game, actually. Free hitting, Game Week 27, going Corny, Pope, and Weghorst. What would you say? Yeah, don't like the idea of double up in the defence. Yeah, fair enough. Corner's due a return. The thing is, though, his stats do point towards an unsustainability, and I'm not that sure if he is definitely due a return, but he is a good player. He could just get something out of nothing. That's a good point. And I can see why you wouldn't want to double up on their defence. I just like their defenders because they have a lot of aerial threat. They're facing two teams that are very poor defensively. But yeah, that's a good shout. If the team is decent currently, should we do wildcard around 31 to get longer benefit or do in 35? Good question. I think either's a viable option. You could still wildcard in 31 and have a really good bench in 36 because a lot of those players you're bringing in for the 31 wildcard will have doubles in 36. So yeah, we won't maybe have the full picture by then, but you'd still know enough. Well, okay, chill, Hassan, chill. Thank you very much, but chill. Free hitting, who do I prioritise? Rafinha, Ward-Prowse, Kane. Kane for me, all day long. I wouldn't really prioritise Rafinha on a free hit. Pope in 2 matches can do more than Edison. Look, I think that's not a bad shout going for Edison, but I just think his ceiling isn't that high. Even if Pope gets 2 blanks and, you know, no clean sheet, he could get 4 to 6 points. He doesn't even need a clean sheet for that. So I think his ceiling is higher. Even with 1 clean sheet, he could be on for a double-digit return. But that's a good point too. I think there's no one set way to go about it. You could also go for Edison and double up with Tarkowski and me. And I have Son. Yeah, I'd still prioritise Kane, Arjun. Kane and Ward-Prowse in 28 or Son and Brozier in 28. Oh, really? No. I'd maybe go for Son and Brozier, but I'd still want Kane as well if you can. Bowen, a long-term hold. I still think he's great, you know, and I don't want to change my mind completely based on doubles in 28 and 29. Bowen and Cancelo are still two of the best options in the entire game. But, let's go back to the screen here. Oh my god, I need to change this, by the way. Apologies for this. I don't want to actually spam this. But yeah, I'm still not too sure in terms of holding him, because you could get more value, more games from others, and then bring Bowen back in later on in the season. He is still worth holding, but you could consider moving him on. And the same goes for Cancelo. That's why I've done it, but I'm still uneasy about selling Bowen and Cancelo, if that makes any sense. Let's say it that way. Would you trust Southampton or United's defence more? Honestly, maybe United because of the fixture. I think Watford's attack, maybe not as impressive as Norwich recently, but both defences are just poor for me. Free hit would be a good idea, although I only have one. In that case, that's why you could maybe skip the free hit in 27 and use it in 30 or 33. Yeah, Southampton are playing much better. That is true. I like Southampton's attack rather than the defence, though. I have to sell White because I have Salah and Trent and Robert on the bench. Fair enough, yeah. Fair enough. -8, though, I'm not too sure. But Livramento could pay off that hit anyway. My free hit team, 1.3 million. Any improvements? That's a solid team. I like it a lot. 1.3 million. You could consider Sancho instead of Foden, but you don't have to. You know, he is facing a improved Watford defence. Yeah, the defence looks good as well. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I'd consider. Maybe Foden out for someone else. Do you think Brighton will score? Yes, but I think, well, both Aston Villa and Brighton are struggling recently. It could be a bit of a high-scoring game, or a 2-1 or something like that. It tends to be that scoreline when both of them play. I have a field of 11 with no bench. Is a free hit worth it? I think the main thing really in your case, Law, is the quality of the players. And if you're not that happy with the quality of your players, then I would consider maybe free hitting. Otherwise, 11's fine, obviously. You've got a full 11. That's pretty good. If you've got Son, Kane, Bruno, and Cancelo, if you've got 3 of those, then you're set. I don't think you need to. Should I get rid of Conor for Neves? Once again, Manish, no, I wouldn't. I don't think Neves is worth it. Is it worth bringing in Rudiger, seeing their amazing fixtures, and when will Trippier be back? I'm not sure when Trippier will be back. As for Rudiger, yes, it's worth it, but not now, in 28, when he doesn't blank. Of course, yeah, Rudiger's definitely worth it. I recommended him to you, Abir, when you asked about the best defender that's not from Liverpool City from Gameweek 28 onwards. Do we know if Shaw will play? Yeah, that's a good shout. He might be a bit of a rotation risk. I'm not really a big fan of the defenders, though. Maguire could be just the most nailed. Go for him. He got -3 points against Watford last time, but things have changed, of course. Yeah, that is a possibility. I still would expect Shaw to start, but you never know. You could be right. The best defender to buy for 27, I have Sarr, Foster, me, and Cancelo. Looking long term, I'd probably say a Wolves defender still, but not really a great fixture in 27. So I would probably say Cody, Saiss, or Ait-Nouri. Maguire or Varane, I'd probably go for Maguire, but there's not much in it there. Both of them have aerial threat. Yeah, it is quite tough between the two. I'd probably go for Maguire. Yeah, big win. I already answered this question. I go for Brozier and Son. Bench one for Gameweek 27. Probably Ramsey. Looking at it quick, yeah, I think Ramsey. But it's between him and Livramento, I think. Cancelo, Foden, Son, Bowen, Laporte, Weghorst, Brozier, Elise, Dennis, and Sanchez. That's a good team. That's a good team, actually. The only thing is, with a free hit, you could get Bruno, you could get Kane, and possibly a few other players like City attackers or defenders. That's the only thing, but you could always skip it and use it in 30 or 33 as well. So I don't think you need to free hit, but it could be very beneficial. I think if you gain 30 points or something, you're probably very happy with that. That's what I would say. So yeah, we're 6 likes away from 150. Let's get to that number. Not too far away from that, and we reached 10,000 subscribers today, so thank you very much to everyone. And we'll be talking more about Gameweek 27 in detail in future videos. Saiss, Cody, or which was the player to get? I like all of them. I think in terms of attacking threat, Saiss is the best, but Cody is arguably better for bonus points, even though they both have the same this season. I like both of them. I'd probably just go for Sice if you have enough money. Do you think Lindelof will play instead of Maguire? Honestly, think Varane. Lindelof is a better centre-back. Well, Maguire's the captain, though, and he just scored. And I just don't see Maguire being benched. So, look, who knows what's going to happen. And I'm not a big fan of United defenders anyway. But I don't necessarily think Maguire will be benched. I'm getting Weghorst and then Newcastle keeper as my second. Still have 9 players. I have Son and Mahrez, Cancelo. I hope I can perform. I think that's still good enough. Not a big fan of Newcastle in Gameweek 27 specifically, but that's still decent. Is having 2.5 million in the bank a problem? Not necessarily. I think the main problem is if you're not able to have a flexible squad structure. So if you wanted to get Kane in up front, then you have a way of getting to it. So with 2 or 3 transfers, that's what I would say. Luis Diaz, worth bringing in? Well, he's someone, if you haven't brought him in already, I wouldn't really think about him right now. Just keep an eye on him in the other competitions as well, and in 28 when he plays. But I don't know. In Liverpool, I'd still rather triple up with Robertson, Trent and Salah. Yeah, look, Diaz is really good. He's been fantastic this season, even last season in the Copa America. He's worth keeping an eye on, but I wouldn't bring him in. And also in midfield, you have so many options. I'm just not sure if it's really worth getting him in right now. Hi Dylan, I have 10 players available for 27. I'm not free hitting. I'm going to captain Weghorst. Yeah, no, that's good. And you've got plenty of good options. The only thing is you've got no Son, Bruno, Kane, or a City midfielder. That's the only thing I would say, but that's still good, FPL Geek. That's a good team. Mahrez or Sterling? Oh, I think I'd go for Mahrez just because of what you can do with that money, but it's quite tough. I think free hitting will be good because a lot of people will not have players for Gameweek 30. Yeah. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how it pans out, but I mainly like the differentials you can get on a free hit in 27. Who do you think starts in 27 for City attacking wise? Assuming that Foden isn't, having any issues, I think he's going to start Mahrez and Sterling. So that's kind of like the front 3, Bernardo Silva, KDB and Rodri. So that's kind of the front 6. Rodri's the midfielder, the defensive midfielder, the rest are attacking. Zaha, Broja, Jimenez and Weghorst. Yeah, that's still pretty good actually, Geek, yeah. I'm getting the keeper to save a transfer in 28. Fair enough, fair enough. Should I go double City defence in 27 and avoid City attacking rotation on free hit? I'd still... Yeah, I get what you mean. I'd still get 1 City attacker. But yes, double City defence is good. I don't really see Everton... Well, they could score a goal, but City should dismantle them pretty easily. So yeah, I think that's a good shout, big win. CR7 to Weghorst and King to Broja, Adams for a -4, still worth it? Yes, I think it is worth it. The only thing is CR7 is playing Watford and you never know. I'd still have 10 playing players. I get what you mean. I just do King to Broja in that case. I know Weghorst has the extra fixture, but I'm not sure. Long term, Weghorst is the better option than Ronaldo, I guess, because of the money. Just saying that way. When you go for Jota over Robertson, without a doubt, not necessarily, because when Firmino comes back, there's Diaz as well. Jota's a bit of a problem, so not necessarily. If I have Son, also Sterling, Ward-Prowse. Who's that? Margersans? Or are you going about Gabriel Magalhaes? Is Bruno better than Kane? I don't think he's better than Kane in Gameweek 27, and I prefer Kane long term. So honestly, I don't think he's better than Kane. I'd try to get both on a free hit though. Yeah, he's good. I always have an eye on Luis Diaz since he's Colombian like me. I really like seeing Colombian players do good in Europe. Yeah, watching the Copa America, the one player I felt that really threatened Argentina was Diaz. So yeah, and he was one of the best players in that tournament as well. So yeah, that's kind of when I really took notice of him. Even before that, I think he scored a great goal against City last season in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Diaz has been pretty good for a year or two now. Free hit team, very good. I like that. I'm trying to find ways of improving it. I mean, I prefer going for Ben Mee or Tarkowski instead of Corny, but that's a good team. I like it. You do have quite a lot of money on the bench though, Lee, which is not a bad thing, but you could consider downgrading a few players there and possibly upgrading. I'm not a big fan of Gay in defence there in your starting 11. That's what I would say. It's a differential. It could pay off, but I'm personally not a big fan. Free hit draft. Yeah, another one. I like it. It's pretty similar to what I have, I think. Jimenez, I would go for Who do I even have? But I would go for a midfielder instead, if possible. So you've got Bruno, Son, Sancho, Mahrez. I like that a lot. Yeah. So let's actually bring up my free hit team, for those of you who haven't seen. So, yeah, I'd go for Weghorst. Wait, do you not have Weghorst? Surely you do. Yeah, no. I'd go for Weghorst instead of Jimenez. He's got a double. Jimenez only plays West Ham. What Burnley defender are you bringing in? Tarkowski, it's not like he lost his place. It's because he had COVID. He had an illness. I think he will. He's one of their main defenders. So I would rather go for Tarkowski. If not, go for Ben Mee or Roberts. Opinion on Arsenal's chances of getting top 4? They have a good chance, but Spurs and United will cause them a lot of problems. West Ham still have a little chance, but I think it's between Arsenal, Spurs and United. Broja or Dennis on the free hit? Broja. Van Dijk for the long term? I'd rather have Rudiger long term, so no. And Robertson is also my preference. Van Dijk was someone I would like in Game Week 26 because he was so likely to play both, but long term I prefer those defenders I said. Not to mention Cancelo potentially and Trent, so yeah. Is it required to play a free hit in 27? I don't think you're required or you need to play it, but you could improve your team a lot. So you can get a better goalkeeper, you can get 2 or 3 double game week players, you don't have any Burnley players except for Corny. You can get another Spurs attacker, same with City, United. So you don't have to, but I think it would improve your team. Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's completely fine, mate. No worries. Yeah, that's a good team. Very good team. Only have chips, 2 chips left for the season. Bench boost and free hit. Don't know when to use them. Yeah, so what I would consider is maybe bench boosting in 36 and maybe free hitting in 30 and using the rest of your transfers to navigate the doubles and blanks. But that's obviously just a general thing. Looking at your team, I'm not sure who you have or don't. That would also influence it. So I don't think there's a set way of playing the remaining chips now. Is Soufal available for 27? I'm not sure. Honestly, I have no idea if he's going to be available in 27 or not. I'll try check now if I get any information or anything, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. So yeah, we're 3 likes now away from 150. Let's try to get to that now. And yeah. Oh no. Let's see. What can we get for Soufal? Yeah. Don't really see any kind of updates on him, but there could be. I might not just be aware of it right now. Let me check this as well. I'm going to check some other sites as well quickly. Yeah, honestly, no idea if he's going to be available in 27. Is transferring Bowen to Neto in 28 worth it? I mean, Neto would be an extreme differential, wouldn't he? Podence is showing a bit of form. You could consider him instead. Yeah, 30 and 36 sounds good. That's what I would probably look to do with my team if I didn't wildcard in 26 and if I had 2 chips remaining like you did, the fantasy football lad, yeah. Can I skip 3 and 27 with main players like Son, Bowen, Broja, Wood-Prowse, Cancelo, Rafinha? Yeah, you could. I just think there is a bit of upside there with the United attackers, City, and also Harry Kane. Other defenders than City and Wolves in 27, Burnley for sure. Tarkowski, me, Roberts, and you're also looking at potentially a United defender or a Southampton one like Walker-Peters or Livramento. I have 9 players for 27, 2 doublers and no City United. Should I use my last free hit? Oh, it's your last free hit. That's where I'd be a bit cautious about it and maybe use it somewhere else. Yeah, I already answered this question. In terms of the team or the website I'm using right now, it's fpl.team. It's literally just called that, fpl.team. And you can plan ahead. Also look at livefpl.net as well. I think my only problem would be my keeper, Sanchez and Williams and Dennis. Yeah, I see what you mean there, Lord Trafalgar. Is Saint-Maximin available for 27? Once again, no idea if he will be. It's very early on in the week to know for sure. We're going to get more information in the next press conferences. I think Saint-Maximin, I'd be a bit more confident he starts than Soufal on 27. I'm not even sure how bad Soufal's injury is. Podence better than Neto? Right now, I think so, yeah. Ideal strategy for someone with wildcard, 2 free hits and bench boost left? I'll give you a general idea, but it's really team dependent, and that's the kind of beauty of it right now. I don't think what I say, it might not apply to you. You might have a better idea or a better way of playing it. So I think wildcard 28, free hitting in 30 or 27, one of those game weeks at least, and then using the other free hit in 33 or 36. If you don't free hit in 36, I'd use the bench boost there. If not, you could bench boost in 29. So that's kind of a general idea, deceptive. Which goalkeeper do I go for long term? Ramsdale or Jose Sarr for me, easily. Yeah. Do you think Livramento keeps his place? Kind of a gut feeling, I think yes, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets benched because the other fullbacks were playing very well too. Walker Peters and Perard as well. Probably butchering his pronunciation, by the way. Yeah, that's pretty much all the questions covered right now. So yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want me to answer. It's nearly 9 PM here, so we've been streaming for around 2 hours. Do you think Grealish starts against Everton? I think it'll be Foden, Sterling, and Mahrez. That's what I think it will be. Wildcarding now. Wow. The thing is, you got Mendy in goal, but he blanks in 27, Shepherd. That's the problem. Yeah, I'd look to wildcard in 28. So if you haven't activated already, I would consider not wildcarding right now. In terms of the players you have, instead of Diaz, I'd rather go for someone else. Even Laporte, if you wanted to double up on City defence. But I think you could find other players instead. I just think it's too... Free hitting in 27... not even free in 27. Wildcarding in 27, I'm not a big fan of. I don't know. It's just too many question marks, too many things to consider. You'd have to free in 28 or 29 potentially. I can get rid of Elise for Ramsey and Dalot for Williams. Yeah, I like those moves. Dalot for Williams, though, not too sure, but Elise for Ramsey looks good. Lord Trafalgar. Or Williams to Dalot, fair enough, but I'm not really a big fan because United's fixtures turn soon in 28. Bernardo could also play in the front three. Yeah, true. Either way, I think Bernardo will play in the midfield, and if not, it will be kind of as the false 9. But yeah, basically what I think it will be Rodri, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and then Sterling, Foden, and Mahrez. That's what I think it will be. But you never know. It could be Foden being benched for Grealish. Who knows? What Aston Villa assets should we go for? Ramsey, Coutinho, and Digne. I wouldn't really look for anyone else. I have a feeling Foden won't start. Any problems behind the scenes and Pep doesn't start him? Like Pep will say, yeah, there was a thing though a few weeks ago and Pep ended up playing everyone. I think it was Mahrez, Foden who were involved in something. But yeah, true. He is quite harsh sometimes on disciplinary issues, or you could even say fair. Hey Dylan, this is my team. Says Luca. In Game Week 29. So Mendy and Dubravka, Game Week 28. Yeah. I like it. You are making... transfers though for goalkeepers. That is a bit strange, but I do like the team, Luca. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other players. Yeah, okay, no, I like those transfers, especially Rudiger in Game Week 28. That is a good transfer. Yeah, I like that. They should nerf midfielders, fall for a goal, make some changes so CDM can be useful. Well, that's why in UCL Fantasy there is a great thing called ball recoveries where a centre back or DM can get a point for every 3 ball recoveries. I think that's a great idea, and it makes the game much more open and less limited, and also opens up the template a little bit more. Gundogan, Rodri, KDB start against Spurs. Foden, Bernardo, Sterling front 3. Yeah, true. Gundogan, obviously he did score. He's another one to consider, but I still think it'll be that. Obviously I could be wrong. It could be maybe Foden being dropped, Gundogan playing in midfield, and then Bernardo Silva or KDB playing as the false 9. So there's different ways that you can go about it. Play Livramento and downgrade Shaw to upgrade Sancho to Sterling. I think that's good, Joseph. I don't think you need to do that, but I would do it if I had enough money, like you do. Mahrez play short term, so Shaw is a good choice. I mean, it's a free hit. I like taking... You could argue punts, but the thing is, Mahrez has been playing the vast majority of games recently. I think he will start. If you don't think so, then don't go for him, I think. King to Jay Rodriguez, worth as a punt. I'd rather go for Weghorst, so I wouldn't go for Jay Rodriguez despite his assist. Yeah, fair enough. I'd keep Dennis if you can. Transfer DCL for Weghorst or keep him for Double Gameweek 29. I would honestly get Weghorst. Just bear in mind that Weghorst has a few tough fixtures like Chelsea in 28 and I think City around 30 or 31. On a free hit, should I do me to Roberts for a stronger bench? My bench now, Marty, Gilmour, Tsimikas. The thing is, that could also be counterproductive because Roberts could be benched in one of those games for Luton. I'm not saying that will happen, but it's a possibility. I just keep it on me. Mahrez didn't get a start against Spurs though. Yeah, but I think he will start against Everton. Obviously, it's very hard to predict with Pep. But yeah, it's going to be risky. No matter which City midfielder you go for, I think if you really want someone as close to nailed as possible, it would be De Bruyne or Sterling right now. Why not captain Kane? What if Kane scores 5 goals? That would be a bit, that would be a lot if he scored 5 goals. He's only got 7 goals all season or something like that. Yeah, look, I'm not ruling out the possibility. I already said I could captain Son instead of Weghorst. It's just what I have right now. And I wouldn't focus too much on captaincy. It's just really the 11 you get. Do you think Sterling definitely starts? I think he will start. I could be wrong though, that's the thing. But I think he will, yeah. Let's just wait and see what happens there. I would love to have Sterling in my free hit, but I just don't really have a space for him. As you can see, that's pretty much the team I have. And maybe it's a good idea to activate the free hit now because I would be actually priced out of this team. But then again, I could also find a few compromises. Instead of Livramento, I can go for a Marty and stuff like that. Suggested Jay Rodriguez as a punt because I don't have the money to go from King. Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, he's not a bad shout, but Weghorst is someone that not only will pay off that hit for 27, but he's also a good option long term compared to the strikers you have available. I think Rodri, KDB, Silva, Sterling, Foden, Mahrez. Yeah, that's what I think as well, but it could be Foden coming out for Grealish or something like that. Who knows? But I agree. Let's wait and see. Do you think Sterling's a better City mid to punt on than Mahrez? Yeah, look, but if you have enough money, then yes, but I still like Mahrez a lot. Non-FPL question, you think it's Kane's last season in Spurs? It's tough to say. Like, I'd normally say yes, but Levy is the main problem, so he might prevent that from happening like he did last season, but I think so, yeah. On what the person said before, they should award points for giving away penalties and give points for goal line clearances. No, that's a good shout as well. Seems crazy to me an attack can give away a penalty so the clean sheet goes and be fine. No, I agree. They could do quite a lot of stuff. Also, the ball recoveries from UCL Fantasy, including new chips as well to freshen things up. I agree, that's a good idea actually. Dylan, I thought of bench boost 29, but is two Wolves defenders, Foster and Ramsey, good bench boost? It's not bad, but it's not great. And let me actually check who Wolves play in 29. So Wolves play Everton. Yeah, that's not really a great bench boost, is it? I prefer the bench boost in 28. But then again, if you're wildcarding in 28, you can't play 2 chips at once. But look at this bench, for example. You could have Ramsdale, Saka, and then whoever, Trent and Robertson, to name a few examples. And Arsenal could have a double against Chelsea potentially, but that looks pretty good. And that would look solid. But yeah, that bench you said doesn't look that great. That's why I'd probably bench boost in 36 in your case there. Guys, it's Pep Roulette. We don't know for sure who starts. Stop stressing. I agree. Obviously, you want to get it right because if you spend 9 million on Mahrez or 8 point something, you really want him to start. Because if he does, he can really do well. If he doesn't, you're obviously probably going to be crying. So yeah, I agree to a certain extent. But we have to think about these things. If you don't think Mahrez is going to start, go for Sterling or go for someone else entirely. I'd rather go Sterling in place of Sancho. No, I agree. The problem is with my money, I don't have enough. So yeah, the only way I could get Sterling is for Bruno, really. And I don't want to do that. So if I had enough money, I think that's a good idea. I would do it. Evening, Mark. Thank you for tuning in. If you got one free hit, is it worth it? 27. If you have some of the main players, so Son, Kane, Cancelo, Bruno, if you have like 2 or 3 of those, then I would skip 27, use free transfers or hits, and use the free hit later on. But if you only have one of those players, or even none of them at all, then I would still use the free hit potentially. There are way better punts than Jay Bloody Rodriguez. Yeah, I mean, it's a double, but I just don't really like him long term. With Weghorst, even if he doesn't produce in 27, he can do well beyond that. Corny, a good shout? Yes, he is, definitely. I just prefer the double up in Burnley's defence with Pope and Tarkowski, me or Roberts. Dennis to Veggie, then to Jimenez. Yeah, that's a shout. But then Dennis is a good option in 28 also with that double. That's what I would say. But yeah, that's a shout. What to do with Rafinha? Probably keep for now. If you're free hitting, I wouldn't get him in. But I wouldn't sell him ahead of 27 if you can, because he doesn't blank in 30 or 27. He has a double very soon as well. So, yeah, I'd probably keep him still. If he was benched again against Tottenham, then I would reconsider. Is Nico Williams 3.8 not in the game anymore? I think he's still in the game. You can still get these players. I'll double check for you, but yeah, no, he's still in the game. He's 3.8 million. Yeah, you can get him instead of the other Williams that I've got on screen, and you save 0.1 million left. Obviously, he doesn't play, so you're not going to get anything out of it, and Liverpool blanked anyway, but yeah, he's still in the game. It's not like UCL Fantasy where after a player gets knocked out, they're not in the game anymore if you don't have them already. Do you think Salah's an option to keep? Definitely, of course, mate. No doubt about it. Just on a free hit, I wouldn't bring him in because he blanks. Triple captain Weghorst? No, I'd rather triple captain Salah in 29 if you haven't already. Wildcard 28 draft. When it comes closer to the time, I will do a video dedicated to that. It would be very similar to the team I have right now in 26. There wouldn't be much changes except for Rudiger coming in, possibly for Robertson, stuff like that, but it'd be very similar. Zaha? Oh, is that Jose Sa? What? Wait, what? Zaha, good Watford option. Yeah, as for Zaha from Palace, not for me. I'm not a big fan, never have been this season. Good Watford option, apart from Dennis, I would probably recommend Ismaila Sarr. And in goal, Ben Foster. I wouldn't really look elsewhere. Hey, I just hopped in. Are you free hitting? I'm potentially free hitting. This is how my team would look like. I don't have enough money to go for Sterling over Sancho, for example. Yeah, I think it's a good week to free hit. If I didn't wildcard in 26, I may have just, I would have skipped it in 27. Welcome, Adil. I'm doing well. What about you? Thoughts on double City defence going forward? I don't think it's as appealing now because of their lack of doubles, and also you can get Laporte. You can get Rudiger in 28. They've got great fixtures, a potential double very soon, and also Robertson. He's got a double in 29. Very good fixtures. Thoughts on Kulusevski? There's too many midfielders right now. I wouldn't consider him right now. He's maybe one to keep an eye on, but from Spurs, I just look at Son and Kane. And on a free hit in 27, Son and Kane for sure. And I'd cover City and United. I wouldn't go for Kulusevski. Reece James to come back for the next game? Honestly, no idea if he's coming back for the next game. He should be back fairly soon. Do you think it's a mistake to use the triple captaincy this week? I don't know about mistake. It could be really good because if Weghorst gets a goal and assist like he did this week, then that's already a good triple captaincy, and then he's got the other game to go. But I think there might be a better opportunity, like Salah in 29. Obviously, I already said this. I think Salah in 26 is by far the best triple captaincy option of the entire season. But if you've already, let that opportunity slip, then you've got more opportunities coming up. It just won't be as good. Do I captain Pope or Son? I'd probably go for Son out of those two. I don't like captaining goalkeepers, even if they have a double. Pope's not a bad shout, though. Just waiting for my luck in the next match of Liverpool, especially Mo, my captain. Do you think it's the right time to use triple captain? Oh, definitely. Look, I have to stress this. I wildcarded because I thought it was best for my team long term, but triple captaincy on Salah, I was always settled on that. I really wanted to do it. I think it was the right decision. He already got 10 points. And if you see how Leeds play today, if Salah starts, he could be in for a massive, and I mean a massive haul, like even bigger than what he did against Norwich. Yeah, one goal is not that bad, or it's not great, but he could easily make that 3 or 4 by the end. Do you think Kane's Son will outscore Weghorst in Game Week 27? Not too sure. I'd try to have all three if possible. I think that's the best free hit team. Obviously, if you're not free hitting, it's a bit more difficult, but yeah, I'm not too sure if they do. Mate, would you sell an Arsenal defender for a Wolves defender in 27 to field 11? Not a big fan because they play West Ham. If you can find another way to field 11, I would do so. Otherwise, then yeah, maybe Tierney to Cody, and it's a good option long term as well. Ward-Prowse or Adams? I actually prefer Ward-Prowse, but I like both. Would you free hit this team, says FPL Dream? That is tough. If you have one free hit left, FPL Dream, then I would save it. But if you have two, I would go for it. That's the way I'd go for it, yeah. That's how I would summarise it. I have one free hit left, have 9 playing players in 27 with 3 having a double. Ooh, should I save the free hit or use it in 27? Since you have 3 double game weekers, you technically do have a full 11, if you know what I mean. Might sound a bit stupid. I would probably look to save it. And if you already have a Son or a Bruno or Cancelo, I think you're well set, even with 9. You can always use a transfer or 2 to get to 10 or 11. I am 9k overall, 75 points this week. Triple captain Salah. When should I use my wild card? it's a team-dependent question, but I think, yeah, you don't have much for 28 or 29, then I would wildcard in 28, child pranksters. I don't think it's a great time to wildcard now. It's a bit awkward. Do I play Winks or take a -4 for Son? -4 for Son all day long. Chances on Webster and Foden playing the next game? I think Foden will play, but I might be wrong about that. As for Webster, I'm not sure how bad his injury is. But, yeah. Foden, I think he will play. What's the 1 point you would make next week if you're certain you are wildcarding in 28? Oh, the one punt. Yeah, I don't have Burnley, Tottenham players right now. The one punt I would make... Great question. Maybe... So I'm not sure which players you have or don't have. You could do something like Salah out for Sterling, or Son, or Fernandez, or even Sancho. So one of these midfielders you see on screen, if not Sterling or De Bruyne, if not a Burnley player. So if you don't have Verkhorst, get him in, or a defender like Ben Mee or Tarkowski. I'd go for something like that, and otherwise, Son or Kane. So I know that I've just gave you a lot of options there, but yeah, it's quite difficult for me to answer when I don't know which players you have or don't have. So ultimately, any of these midfielders you see on screen, or a City attacker, or Harry Kane, and if not, a Burnley player because of the doubles they have. So yeah, I'd try to stick it to one of those instead. Is Laporte nailed? Well, this season he has been. I'm still not a big fan of him right now, though. But yeah, Laporte was a great option for the last 6-10 game weeks or so. But I think there might be better options from now on. I have big red arrows with Son triple captain, Son, Size, Foster, Edouard, Robbo and Trent. I really need a big Salah performance. Wait, oh, I'm guessing Salah triple captain. Yeah, I'm hoping that Salah doesn't do that well because I didn't triple captain him, which sounds a bit strange because I have captained him. But yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Amir. You've got plenty of games left. With 3 Liverpool and 5 Arsenal, it's hard to field 11 because you won't want to sell, but I can't free hit. Yeah, I'd maybe take a hit or 2 call and just roll with it. That's what I would do. My team for Gameweek 27, no chips at the moment. That's pretty decent. The fantasy football lad. The thing is, yeah, Jimenez is playing West Ham. It's not a great fixture, but it's a good transfer long term. Yeah, I would consider using the free hit if you can. But if not, then that's fine. You've only got, I think, 2 chips left. I think the bench beast and the free hit. Yeah, it's a bit difficult. I would either free hit in 27 or 30 and bench boost in 36. That's what I would do. Coutinho or Bowen? I actually prefer Bowen this week. Thank you, George. Are Livramento and Foster nailed until Gameweek 30? Is it Foster or Forster? But either way, I think both of them... Well, should I say the goalkeepers, Foster or Forster, are nailed. Livramento, I'm not so sure. I think he will play, but I can't guarantee you that he will start every game. So if you get Livramento in and you have him for the double, I'm not sure if he plays both. I'm probably doing Edouard out for Weghorst to get a full 11. I need to take out Gray. Oh yeah, Amir, yeah, definitely. I still like Ramsey a lot. There's also Gordon, although he is facing City in 27. But yeah, trying to think of someone else instead. Yeah, I think Ramsey's the best one. Yeah, that's what I'd probably look to do. So yeah, let me just double check this. So yeah, we've got 10,019 subscribers right now. So thank you very much. We've got quite a lot of subscribers today. And yeah, we've answered quite a lot of questions already very early on. We've still got plenty of doubles left in Gameweek 26. And we already talk about 27. That's kind of the nature of all of us, you know, already thinking ahead. But thank you very much. Yeah, I think I'm going to free hit. I think a lot of people are this week. But those with only 1 should be a bit cautious about it. Would it be good to switch Neuro to Ben Mee for 27? The thing is, though, Wolves have very good fixtures after that, including a double. So I try to make another transfer there, Ravi, instead. I'm going to wildcard in 28. Ramsdale, Foster, Kilman. Yeah. Cody or Cancelo. So double Wolves defense there. Okay. I like that team a lot. Yeah. Trying to think of anything else that you could do possibly. I like Son over Kane, but that's still a really good team. Yeah. The thing is with Son, that gives you an extra 2 million and you could maybe improve on Martinelli. I'm not sure about having Ramsey and Martinelli, even though they're both good options in isolation. What's your opinion on Ings and Watkins situation? I'm honestly not sure. And they're not really showing much, whether it's Ings or Watkins starting. I would just avoid both right now. And if you have Watkins, I'd probably sell. If they start showing signs in the future, then I would consider him again. But from Aston Villa, Coutinho, Ramsey and Digne look like the best ones. And even then, they don't, or at least in Digne's case, he doesn't look that great right now. Dylan, do you know when you will triple captain or will you play it based on double gameweek announcements? I'm open-minded about it, but right now I think 29 is the most likely. Can you free hit 27, wildcard 28 and bench boost 29? Yes, you can. So if you have 2 free hits, you can't use them in back-to-back weeks. That's the only thing, but you can do that, definitely. And I think that's a good idea. Just bear in mind, in Game Week 29, only bench boost if your bench actually looks pretty good. You know, don't just force it. You could always use it in 36 instead. Yeah, no updates on Soufal injury as far as I'm concerned. I need to double-check that. There probably is an update, but I'm not aware of it. So if anyone does know, let me know. I'm going to try find something. Maybe Google will help me this time. Okay, yeah, don't really see anything here. Anything about his injury? No, not one thing. No, just news about him apparently leaving. Yeah, I can't see anything about his injury. Okay, wait, maybe this will help. West Ham Zone have reported this. So, Lanzini and Soufal injured for West Ham. West Ham hit with a double injury. Let's see, what is the extent of the injury? Yeah, Soufal's a problem with his hernia, which is already, kind of updated on the FPL website. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's unclear how long they're going to be out for. So honestly, no idea. I'd probably sell Soufal anyway. So that's kind of my take on it. Yeah. Kane is just my man. Fair enough, yeah. For free hit 27, I'm definitely getting Kane in. If I'm playing it, definitely in. Watkins and Ings not playing well at all. I support them. Exactly. And Aston Villa, I don't know. They've only got, I think, 2 wins in 10 games under Gerrard. What's your confirmed move for 27? There's no confirmed moves, honestly. And I'm actually leaning towards using the free hit anyway. So this would be my team as things stand. Janssen out for Ben White. I wouldn't bring in Ben White right now because they blank in 27. It's a decent move long term, but I'd rather get a Wolves defender. Will Foden be punished? Honestly, no idea. I hate saying that or sitting on the fence, as you can say, but I don't know. I think he will play, but I could be wrong. Does Walker start against Everton for my free hit? I think Walker starts. I'm just not sure if he's the defender you want. Verkhorst in for Edouard. That looks good, Nabil. Best 3 defenders for Game Week 27. Cancelo, a Burnley defender like Tarkowski or me, and possibly Laporte. Do you think Kane will ever be benched? In most cases, no. And Spurs, they have nothing else really apart from the FA Cup, I think it is, unless am I forgetting something? But yeah, I think Kane will play the vast majority of games. Conor Roberts looking like a good option. Yes, he's another one. The only thing is he might be rotated with Lowton for one of the games, and I, once again, could be wrong about that. I've got 1 free hit and 10 players this week. Should I free hit? Yeah, honestly, just to make it very simple, if you already have some good players like Cancelo, Son, Bruno, Kane, City midfielder, etc., then I would just avoid using the free hit and get to 11 with a transfer. Yeah, exactly, Cole. It was kind of a thing at the beginning of the season with Nuno, but Kane was in awful form anyway, and he was just coming back from some issues, including, kind of being a bit fatigued from the Euros, you could say. Kane and Son, if they were benched, I think you'd think that Conte's crazy. Why Laporte over Walker? Just because he's more likely to get bonus points, and this season he's been one of the best defenders, and I would go for him. But you could always go for Walker. I don't think it's a bad idea. Any idea why Trent was benched? He was just given a rest. That's as simple as that. And too many games for Liverpool. They just played in the Champions League. They've got another game in a few days. They've got the Carabao Cup final. It makes sense. No problem, Kumar. Thank you very much for tuning in. My current team. Let's see. Nothing in the bank. 1 free transfer. 1 bench boost. 1 free hit. 1 wild card. Okay, so what I would suggest. Yeah, 1 free hit. Okay. I would free hit in 27, Kumar. That doesn't mean you have to, but I would free hit. And I would do something similar to what you see on screen. I would wildcard potentially in 28 and use the bench boost in either 29 or 36. Hopefully that has cleared things up for you. And yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah, exactly, Mark. If I have Cancelo, De Gea, Robertson and Foden on the bench in 28, is it worth a -8 if my starting 11 is Jose, Sarr, Trent? Is it worth a -8? That's still a decent bench, though. I think Cancelo and Foden are playing United, and Foden's playing... Yeah, I can see what you mean. You could bench boost in 28 and take a -8. That's not bad, Adam, but yeah, still not the worst bench in the world. Kane was also affected with all the turbulence around him. Might be... Yeah, exactly. And probably not that motivated. Spurs didn't really make that many great signings in the summer. And also, he wanted to go to City desperately. So that's a good point. Yeah, I already answered that question, Kamal. Yeah, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Is there still a chance for Chelsea to double? Yes, but I think it's less likely. And I think even Ben Crellin... actually, I don't want to misquote him. So let me actually double check this. I don't want to misquote someone. I'll check what he said. I think he gave us a bit of insight into this the other day. Might have been on Friday, actually. Let's check. So let's see. I don't want to give you the wrong information. Let's see. Can I finally find it? Okay. Well, yeah, he said that he thinks Chelsea versus Arsenal is likely to move to Double Gameweek 28. Yeah, he said that, Ben Crellin. It'll probably be a Sky game on the Wednesday night and clash with the Champions League. Arsenal versus Liverpool is a Sky game on the Wednesday night in Game Week 29 and clashes with the Champions League. And there's twice as much pressure to move Chelsea versus Arsenal to Game Week 28. And did he say this? He said this on the 18th. So yeah, this was after the doubles were confirmed for 28 and 29, I believe. Let me just double check this. Yes, so he thinks it's likely to move to 28. And that would be great news for those on Triple Arsenal. Thanks for the stream while putting in work. Kudos to you. Quick questions. Do you lose transfers when activating free hit? Exactly, Michael. So if you've used 2 free transfers, 1, done nothing, or taken I don't know, let's say a -20 of hits, it doesn't matter. All of them will be cancelled out and your team going into the next week will basically be as it was before you activated the free hit in the first place. Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly, Tech. Yeah, I almost misquoted him, which would have been a bad idea. Yeah, exactly. So that's why Arsenal Chelsea players look great from 28 onwards. Would you free hit if you had 1 left? Personally, I would try not to use it, even though my team wouldn't look that great in 27. The thing is, if I had 1 free hit available, I would have maybe not wildcarded in 26. I would have wildcarded later on, and I maybe would have been in a better position to attack 27 without using the free hit. So that's kind of my way of going about it. Foden should start against Everton, right? I think he will, Amir. I can't guarantee it, though. Why do English players get fatigued from Euros or for months after, but Africans like Salah, Mane, Mendy, Mahrez return from AFCON and play back to their usual self immediately? Now, I think with Kane, it was a special case of that mixed with the mental fatigue, you could say, of wanting to move to City, maybe being disillusioned with not getting the move. Nuno not really doing that well with Spurs anyway, not getting the best out of Kane. And the lack of ambition from Spurs, no signings, and yet they force him to stay. I think it's a combination. And as for those players you mentioned, they're all top quality. So is Kane, by the way. But Salah, Mane, Mendy, Mahrez, they're all world-class players. So that's why. And they all play in great teams. You would argue they're much better teams than Spurs as well. So, oh dear. No, but Kane is a good player. I don't think he's overrated. He's been awful this season, but he's now picking up under Conte. And yeah, he's not an awful player or pampered or overrated in my opinion. So yeah, I think I might free hit today, by the way. I might activate it. Maybe not on stream. I won't do it yet. I'll still reconsider. I want to think about these things, but it's a possibility. Yeah. So yeah, we've reached 150 likes. Thank you very much. Hopefully by the end, so when people watch it afterwards as well, we can get to 200 likes. That'll be much appreciated. And thank you to everyone who's still tuning in right now, by the way. It's honestly much appreciated, as always. So yeah, I'm going to try scan the internet for anything right now. But yeah, I don't see anything, by the way. I don't see absolutely anything in terms of something that could impact us. But either way, there's the night is young, Bats. Actually, no, I'm quoting Batman Arkham Asylum. But yeah, there's quite a lot of games left for Game Week 26. So yeah, it's obviously a bit of a premature reaction. But obviously, Just wanted to get my thoughts out very early on. Yeah, free hit locked in. A lot of people have done it already, even yesterday. Just a kind of quick word of advice. In terms of your free hit, try to avoid players that are kind of projected to fall. So even someone like Cancelo, if you brought him in yesterday, his value went down overnight. You want to avoid that sort of situation. But players like Son, he could go up in price. I think it makes sense for me. For example, I've already got him, by the way. But players who could go up in price that you want to get in, that would obviously push you towards free hitting right now. But I do like the flexibility of potentially saving the free hit for later on. But I think I'm going to be using it. Yeah, don't know what that is, but I'm going to be putting you on timeout. What's your team with no free hit? Exactly this. So let me know what you think. Basically, only Son, Weghorst, Broja, and, well, just them. They're the only players that would survive in the free hit team. I don't mind Bowen, actually, against Wolves, but the rest wouldn't really feature my best free hit team. So, yeah, quite a lot of changes there. When we use your second free transfer at the moment, I don't have 2 free transfers because I just wildcarded. I only have 1 free transfer. I'll probably just free hit, but I'm still open-minded about it. Let's wait and see. I'll try to get through the rest of the questions as well. Just give me a second. Alright, I'm going to go up a bit more in the chat. I'm going to go through those that I haven't answered. So, Nabil puts his team out. Have a wild card, 2 free hits, and a bench boost. I would... Yeah, you've got 2 free hits available. I would free hit this week, Nabil. I'd wildcard in 28. Yeah, 28 or 31. And I'd bench boost in 36, Nabil. Did you say you're free in 27? I'm very likely to. And that's something I kind of thought about anyway when I decided to wildcard in 26. Which Burnley defender is nailed? Is Roberts a good choice? Roberts is a good choice, but there is the possibility of him rotating with Lowton during the double game week. I think Tarkowski and me are the most nailed. The reason why Tarkowski didn't play in 26 is because he has COVID. Wildcard 27, honestly, I wouldn't wildcard in 27. I don't think it's a good idea because it's better to free hit in 27 than wildcard out of it rather than wildcarding in 27 then not really having the best team for 28, 29, 27 and 30. I just think it's too many things to kind of navigate around if you're wildcarding right now. So I would honestly free hit in 27, wildcard in 28 or 31. Why do managers not take full advantages of the double game weeks and wildcard earlier? I'm not sure what you mean earlier. Everyone's different. I think some people are well set for these doubles and blanks anyway, despite not using the wildcard, and vice versa. So, yeah, some people might not be in a great position for those, and some of them may have even wildcarded recently, so it's quite difficult. And when we don't have the full picture, so much can happen, especially this season with the amount of postponed games. I have wildcard 1, free hit and bench boost. What strategy would you use? I would wildcard in 28. I'm not sure what your team is, by the way, Adil, so it's very hard for me to give you the best answer possible, but I'd probably bench boost in 36, wildcard in 28, and free hit in 30 or 33. What else is it? Do you reckon Adams and Broja? I like both, but I do prefer Broja still, just for that extra value. If you're looking at form, though, Adams takes the plate. If that's even a phrase, by the way. With 10 players to play, do I need the free hit? You don't need the free hit. And if you have good quality players, that's the main thing, then you definitely don't need to. Dawson's 9-pointer fell on the bench is killing me, but then you wouldn't have started him anyway. It obviously sucks, but yeah, you weren't going to play him anyway. Why free hitting so early? I've got 2 available, and it just makes sense. I can gain quite a lot of points from it. So the other one would be used from 30 plus. It could even be 33 or afterwards. Yes, big win. You can free hit and change transfers. It's not set in stone. The same goes for a wildcard. Wildcard in 27 is the best way to go. I don't think so. I think 28 would be the best if you haven't used it already. If not 31. Second free hit, 33 or 36. Yeah, the second... Oh, yeah, sorry. Second free hit. It's tough for me to say because we don't know what 33 or 36 is going to be like. And I might want to bench boost in 36 if I don't use it in 28. So, different ways to go about it. Because I'm likely to bench boost in 28, I would go for 36, but it might be different for you. That's why I wouldn't just set it in stone right now. I think just be open-minded. Either week is fine. and we'll see when we get closer to it. With that team, I've already done a transfer with Weghorst. I already had Weghorst in 26. And even without the wild card, I would have brought him in for a -8. So yeah, that team that you see on screen is without making a transfer. So I could make a transfer or two, take a hit, and get a full 11. But I think I could get more upside by taking or using a free hit. That's why I'm looking to use it. If you've got 10 players, but they're good quality players for Game Week 27, then you don't have to. I triple captained, whereas my Limited League rivals went for wildcard. I'm thinking wildcard in 28 or 31. Honestly, I think either's fine, FPL Dream. I think maybe 28 because you can also get in on Rudiger early. You can then get some of the players they have, but also those that they may not have already because they wildcarded a bit earlier on and the circumstances change. So maybe 28, but 31's fine also because you could also deaden your team into 30, avoid using that free hit, and then wildcard out of it. So both are good. Should we use free hit in 27 if we have just one? If you only have one, then I would try to not use the free in 27 if possible. But if you don't have that many good players, and you don't even have that many players in general, then you could use it. I wildcarded in 26, so I have 5 players blanking. Yeah, in that case, I would probably use the free hit in 27, Vivan. But for those who haven't wildcarded, I would try to avoid using it if you only have one. I've got to be honest, it was such a joy to see Burnley manage some success finally. Yeah, I was just happy with the Weghorst returns, to be honest, because he's such a differential. But yeah, it also keeps the relegation battle exciting. That's what I like. Free hit in Game Week 30, wildcard 31, bench boost 36. That looks good. That's what I mean. You could free in 27, wildcard in 28, and bench boost in 29 or 36. And you can do what you just said. There's so many ways to play it. So yeah, you changed your name. It's pretty much the same name. Instead of Dylan _ RCM, it's Dylan RCM. That's pretty much it. If Salah rises to 13.2 and I brought in at 13, how much do I get if I was to sell? You get 13.1. So for every time Salah or any player you have goes up by 0.2 million, the sell value goes up by 0.1 million. So you make that profit. Hopefully that makes sense. Best game week for bench boost. I think if you wildcard in 26, 28 is looking like the best time to bench boost. But if you're wildcarding in 28, then 29 or 36. And to be fair, even those who wildcarded just now, you could actually bench boost in 36. So basically, 28 or 36, and if you wildcard in 28, 29 is a good chance too. Can I free hit now and still make transfers? Yes, big win. Yes, you can. Dennis or Weghorst going forward? I think they're both similar level. I maybe would go for Weghorst, but Dennis is still fine. I mean, he's not great. And that is displayed by the amount of blanks he's produced recently. Do you think Trent will play against Leeds? Yes, I'd be very surprised if he didn't. Hey bro, just joining in. Hope Salah comes through against Leeds. I think he will. It's just a matter of how many goals he's going to score. I hope he doesn't because I didn't triple captain him, but you know, I already knew what I was signing myself up for when I wildcarded. Brought in Weghorst in the last 2 minutes. Wow. Yeah, look. In terms of the advice for getting Weghorst in, it's mainly because he has 2 doubles in a row and also there's not that many strikers. I also expected him to play against Brighton. You know, Sean Dyche seemed very positive about him starting. That's why I recommended him, but it could have gone the other way. Best transfer for the coming game weeks. I'm not sure which players you have or don't have already, but Wolves players look great. I think Wolves are some of the best players you can get. Heung-min Son, if you were to get a Spurs player. Yeah, some of these players I'd recommend. Salah's a no-brainer, of course. So yeah, I'd go for one of those players probably. So yeah, it's now 9:30. Thank you very much for everyone for tuning in. We're going to wrap up very shortly, and yeah, after the stream is done, I'm going to make a few changes maybe to some layouts I had in terms of this setup because yeah, the subscribe button was a bit annoying earlier on. I can't lie to you. If I have one free hit left, but I have everyone but as a goalkeeper who can play, 2 dodgy defenders for Game Week 27, do you think a free hit or take a hit for a cheap keeper is better? The thing is, if you're taking a hit to get rid of a Ramsdale or a Sarr, or just a good goalkeeper for a cheap keeper, I don't like that. If you have Bruno, Son, Kane, a City midfielder, Cancelo. If you have some of these players already, don't free hit. I think you can just save it. I have 72 with wildcard and still have 11 to play. I think it's not really... Look, the wildcard is a long-term thing. It's not just for this week. Triple captain Salah, for me, was the best thing. Like, it's the best triple captaincy of the season. But the wildcard could be very beneficial long-term. So honestly, very difficult to judge just yet. But 72 is a great score and you could easily get double that by the end. Bruno looks like he's back though, but the fixtures are very poor from 28 onwards. On a free hit, I would get Bruno, but I wouldn't bring him in now. Not right now because of those fixtures coming up soon, and Son for me is a better option long term. Makes sense, -4 to Foster. Sarr in Game Week 27, even though Foster double Game Week 28, yes, because Sarr's just a much better goalkeeper, plays in a much better defence, so yes. Neto back, hopefully can become an option soon, yes. Right now I would prefer Podence though. Problem with Weghorst on wildcard is he plays, yeah, exactly, Chelsea in 28. So if you want a bench boost in 28, you probably need to take a hit. Yeah, I agree, and I'm looking to maybe even get rid of Weghorst in 28 for Dennis for a -4, and I can get a really good team in 28. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Thank you, Mohammed, much appreciated. Should I wait to free hit? If you're not going to be priced out, then yes, try to wait. Welcome, Zodiac. Sterling or Mahrez if price was not an issue? I prefer Mahrez actually, but if you are not sure of him starting, go for Sterling. That's the way I see it. Best duo goalkeepers for a wild card, if you can afford it, Ramsdale and Jose Sarr. Before it would have been Ramsdale and Sanchez for value, but because of these doubles, I'd go for that. Howdy, how's your UCL going? I think I'm around 60 points, Michaelo, and I've got a small green arrow to around 1k, 1.3k, and I've got plenty of players left. As for FPL, got 72 points in Game Week 26, very good, with Foster, Trent, Reguilon, Son, Saka, Salah, triple captain, Weghorst and Edouard. Could I get 100 plus points? Definitely, especially Salah's triple captaincy. You could easily get 100 plus. Ramsdale or Sarr? I prefer Ramsdale, but Sarr has that really good double in 28. That's what I like. No blanks, so he's very appealing, but I still prefer Ramsdale. Best triple captain? Well, Salah just now, and if not, Salah in 29, or possibly we'll get another good opportunity in the future, but that's pretty much it. So thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in today. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe for new. Thank you very much to everyone. We have now reached 10,000 subscribers. It's much appreciated, and yeah, we've already got plenty since reaching that milestone. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. There's also the Discord server, and you can also become a channel member. And all of those perks are also on the Patreon, which we have launched today to celebrate 10,000 subscribers. And if you join early, you will have some exclusive perks that you get as a captain or legend, even if you sign up as a differential, which is the cheapest tier available. So check that out. All the perks are in the description below, and I explain all of it. So thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed and everyone who's a channel member already and sending super chats. It really helps out the channel and it's much appreciated. So all of you are legends. And if you've got any further questions, I'll try to answer before wrapping up. And if I don't get to your question or comment, then leave it down in the comment section. But yeah, it's much appreciated. Let's try to get this video to I only said 2,000. Okay, that would be a bit of a stretch. Let's try to get to 200 likes. That would be much appreciated. So thank you very much to everyone, and all the very best of luck for the rest of Game Week 26. Still a long way to go. And also Game Week 27, that should be an interesting one. I already showed you the best free hit team in my opinion from the budget I have available earlier on. I might actually lock in the free hit today because in terms of budget, I don't really have too much leeway compared to maybe other people. Thank you, Bud. Great stream. Thank you, Mark, for always tuning in. Coutinho or Rafinha long term? I think this very, very tight, and I think I would have gone with Coutinho a few days ago. I just like the fact that Rafinha has no blanks. That's what I really like about him. He was benched today, let's not forget. It's very tough, actually. I might go for Coutinho, but only just, and it's not much in it. Thank you, CH. Much appreciated. No, everyone here is a legend. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Lager. Should I sell Saka since to get 11 players this week, although he has good upcoming fixtures? The thing is, he could have a double as soon as 28. That is what does put me off there. It depends which player you bring in. That is ultimately the thing. So if you're bringing in a really good player long term who doesn't blank in 27 and has good fixtures long term, then I would do it. But if you can, keep Saka. I think he's good. And that's why I look to wildcard, have Saka for 26, then free hit out of him, then bring him back in 28. So that's kind of my thinking about it. But that's really good, by the way, Mark. 74 triple captaincy and 7 double Gameweek players. That looks very solid. So yeah, thank you everyone for all the questions and comments. I'm going to leave now, and all the very best of luck. There's going to be more videos for FPL and UCL Fantasy. The same goes for live streams. Check out the description below for all the different platforms that we are on, and enjoy the football as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.